Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with: cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem: the balls kept on breaking on impacts with the racket. The call of "new balls please" seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point: the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour optic yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word, phoning with me, Majestic, alongside experienced Premier League gaffer Alan Pardew. And what a day of football it's been, with managers under the spotlight at the top and bottom of the table. And Pardew, feels like the old school Sundays. We're going to be moaning about Man United and Spurs again.
Oh, lovely.
And their managers.
Yeah, of course.
It was like last season. In the early kick-off, Leeds and Man United drew 1 apiece before Ruben Amorim made some explosive post-match comments. Now, we're going to get your opinion on these parts. And then in the 3 p.m. kickoff, Spurs drop points at home again. This time against Sunderland. And Liverpool couldn't hold on to a 94th minute lead as Fulham scored a sensational last-minute goal as the game finished 2 apiece.
Reedy.
Keith Andrews' Brentford scored 4 past Everton. And in the Pards derby, it was all smiles for Eddie Howe as they picked up maximum points against Crystal Palace. And we want your views on all of those games. 03717 223344 is the number to call. Remember, talkSPORT is now live on YouTube and your smart TV. We're at the glorious News UK HQ here in London on the 17th floor. So come watch me in Parts. Parts looking as fresh as ever. But now it's all about you and your views. 03717 223344. Imagine Parts, it's Sunday night. It's the Final Word. That's right, it feels like Groundhog Day Parts. Sunday evening, we're talking about a Manchester United manager who's said explosive comments and Spurs dropping points at home.
Well, it's been a funny week for managers this week, for Premier League managers anyway. And we got my old club, Whiteleaf, Callum McFarland, who used to work at Whiteleaf as a coach, taking Chelsea's first team as we speak. Amazing.
It's currently 0-0 as we're watching that in the studio. Big shout out to Alan, the Arsenal fan. He says, good evening to my favourite duo. You're both looking great. Really looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to the show as well. We got to start with Amorim. We'll talk about the game in general. Let's start there. That's their headline.
It's going to be the headline for a few days, by the way.
So what is exactly that he said?
Well, actually, I was on the show earlier with the guys, and I didn't realise how these quotes have come about, really. Because it looks like on the TV, he's done his TV commitments, he's done his radio commitments. Nothing was really said, but he's gone in the press room.
That's where it was. So should we have listened
right
to
at
that?
the end, yeah.
I believe we've got that. Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim made some mic drop comments. Check this out.
I just want to say that I'm going to be the manager of this team, not just the coach. And I was really clear on that. And that is going to finish in 18 months. And then everyone is going to move on. That was the deal. That is my job, not to be a coach. If people cannot handle the Gary Nevilles and the criticisms of everything, we need to change the club. No, guys, I just want to say that I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach. And every department, the scouting department, the sport director needs to do their job. I will do mine for 18 months, and then we move on.
Wow. I actually love that. Do you know what? In this crazy world of football at the moment that we've seen with Chelsea in the week, what do you make of these comments, Pards? Because you're a gaffer, yeah? He's said what he thinks and he says what he means, doesn't he?
Well, you know, you got to understand that when you're a Premier League manager, you're getting pressures, right, that are not visible for the fans and the media. So you don't understand what those pressures are. Now, Maresca, I think everybody knows that there was definitely some heat coming from him, from above, from his technical directors, and questioning his substitutions, his timing of players, etc., etc. I mean, that's well documented this week, hence he has gone. And now, in the same week, we've had Amorim really coming out more or less in a heated way to me. It sounds like...
That was heated, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like someone's had a pop at him after the game, like a technical director or an owner has come down and had words. That's what... Because he sounds emotional to me. And he's usually quite calm, and we're always praising how good he is in press conferences. That's the first... Well, not the first time, because he's had some moments. He's had the odder moment. I think Christmas last year, we're trying to dig something out, which he said about, I might have to move on, etc., etc. But let's go back to the quotes he's used today. He's used, I'm not a head coach, I'm a manager, although his contract apparently says he is head coach, by the way. I don't know if you know that, Madge, but that is true. Everyone will move on in 18 months' time. That doesn't sound like there's a new contract coming or he wants a new contract. Sounds like everyone will get on with their jobs and, that'll be it. So that doesn't bode well. Everybody's going to dissect this now. And you've come out of a game. The game wasn't great. It's a nothing game. It's a 1-1, and there's no headline to come out of it. There is now.
Yeah, massively. talkSPORT understands that there's growing tension between Ruben Amorim and United Director of Football Jason Wilcox. Sources close to Old Trafford say Wilcox would like Amorim to be more tactically adaptable, while the Portuguese has also been told bringing in reinforcements this transfer window is unlikely. That's the tension that you don't really want between a manager and a sporting director, really.
Let me tell you why it's got tense, right? Obviously, you're going to get a technical director to come down and might be disagree with your substitutions or the tactical format that you've had. Don't matter about that because you can have disagreements. And at the end of the day, he's the manager. But what this is about is the transfer window opening match. And he's obviously not got or not heard what he wants to hear, Amorim. He obviously wants something and he's not getting it.
Well, they spent a lot of money in the summer.
Yeah, no, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying why I think it's arose today. It's almost like, right, okay, now I know where I stand. You ain't going to come start criticising me as well. I'm not getting what I want, and here you are coming down, digging me out about whatever they've had a cross word about.
But to link this to a few different situations in different clubs as well, including Tottenham, right? Are we seeing the after effects of keep swapping managers, letting managers spend money, and then you're left with a squad that this manager's not reckons he can do enough with. And you're in this place now where they go, well, we've got no money left, like, to spend. We spent big in the summer, which they did. And I think what they brought in was good and has improved Manchester United. But he's looking at the other areas which still aren't strong enough.
Of course, which we said at the start of the year at the back and in the midfield.
Yeah.
You know, they look weak. And the goal today was an error by a centre-back who's 18 years old.
And that's not fair on him.
And as I say, in my opinion, he shouldn't really be playing for Manchester United. You know, you'd like to think that have some kind of senior player who's well-rounded, played for Roma for 300 games or whatever, or played for Fiorentina or, you know, or has some kind of pedigree. You know, you're pulling these boys out of the academy and saying, go in there and be United centre-half. Well, that's not happening. I mean, you know, obviously they've had a couple of injuries at the back, but it's not a strong squad. And I think his hands are tied. But the bottom line is, Madge, and we all know this as managers, you don't go public. You know, that is one thing you're really asking for trouble. We said this about Maresca. Look what happened there. 2 weeks later, his job was gone. And Amorim has done something very similar today, in my opinion.
They laid a marker down.
He has laid a marker down. And, you know, when you're challenging people like Jim Ratcliffe, you know, billionaires, I'm not being funny, paying up a manager is like small fry.
Especially for their egos.
Correct.
Back me or sack me, it sounds like. Right, in the other scores, of course, Spurs were held to a 1-1 draw at Sunderland after going a goal up in the first half, courtesy of Ben Davies, who started his first Premier League game for Spurs this season.
Wow.
We'll get into that later on. Everton 2, Brentford 4. No wonder producer Ross is in a bad mood
he's
this after.
seething. Seething.
Thiago hat-trick humiliating Everton, but Keith Andrews should get a lot of credit.
Yes.
Moyes changed the back four, who he kept clean sheet last weekend.
See that line that you've just read there?
Yeah.
That's a producer line. That's
absolutely.
an Everton supporter.
Yeah.
Getting a little dig in there, just so you know,
Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. We heard that in the news. Wilson and Harrison score worldies as Liverpool failed to win for the second game in a row. And Newcastle United.
Comfortable, by the way. Comfortable win.
2-0 against Pardew's old club, Crystal Palace, and his old club, Newcastle, in the Pardew derby. Glasner, is he to blame the lack of squad rotation? Obviously, they just brought Brennan Johnson in as well. Did he pull up any trees today? Let me know, Palace fans. 03717 223344 is the number to call, especially Man U fans. I mean, we're here again. It is the 4th of January 2026, and we're here again asking, do you want your manager gone? Are you backing him, or are you with the sporting director and the rest of the hierarchy? It sounds like he wants to fight with Gary Neville as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, when you're at Manchester United, you know, those big names now all got, you know, these podcasts, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, they're all having their bits and pieces.
Is their legacy hindering them moving forward?
I don't think
there's just so much weight on there.
If it was successful, of course, they'd have a great profile, these guys. They'd probably have a better profile. I don't know. So I don't think I think they're genuinely not happy with what they're seeing after the days that they've had of winning titles.
We've got to stop you there. We've got to go to Mickey Gray because there's been a goal at Manchester City. Let's go to the Etihad.
It's Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0, and it's come from the left foot of Tierney Reinders. A quick break from City from the centre circle. Reinders picks the ball up inside the 18-yard area, chops it onto his left foot and fires it towards the near post to give Jorgensen absolutely no chance. City have been knocking on the door. They've got the goal now. Man City 1, Chelsea 0.
There you go. It was coming, and what a goal it was indeed. We'll keep you updated, of course, Mickey Gray at the Etihad for us throughout the show. Keep those calls coming into us, 03717 223344. The phone lines are open for all. So don't text me going, Madge, why are we not talking about Brentford? If you're a Brentford fan, you give us a call. It's the final word here on talkSPORT.
red-hot atmosphere of Ellen Road. Here is Arrington looking to get the better of Heaven. He's got behind the defence. He shoots it to the far corner and scores. Down the right-hand side, into the area, slips it under the goalkeeper and in. And Cunha scores an equaliser for Manchester United. And Leeds United hopes of surviving in the Premier League might just, when they look back on it, have got a very big boost. Leeds United 1, Manchester United 1.
Good evening, it is the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT. And that bed sounds very Mortal Kombat-like, doesn't it? Round 1, fight. You like a bit of gaming?
No.
Not a gamer, never been a gamer.
No.
Just straight no.
I used to play Game Boy.
Game Boy, yeah.
Yeah, on the bus when I was really, really bored. What's that brick game? I used to play that.
Mario.
No, not
Oh,
Mario.
Tetris.
Tetris, yeah. It's way back.
That's old school, I like that.
Way back.
I'll tell you someone who does like gaming.
Go on.
Is Michael the Man United fan? If it is me, mate Michael.
Oh.
How are you, Michael?
Hi, good evening.
He spent 600 quid on a headset.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks really well. Actually, Majestic pull up. You know, you said to me on Friday, can you play like Britney Spears? Well, you can't actually download sound on it where it sounds like Britney Spears.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can.
I'll tell you what, there's been a bombshell moment today with your team, with the gaffer. How are you feeling?
You know what? I just think that forget the old players. Obviously, we know them. They got podcasts now. How about they come into Old Trafford and make it better? You know, for a kick-off. You know, they know it's bad. We know it's bad. You know, the voices at the minute, I just think he's asking for the sack. When he said it, I come here, when he first signed the contract, first-team coach. Now he's saying he's the Manchester United manager. And obviously, the board not backing him in January because obviously we need signings at the back and midfield, and we do need another striker. But is he asking for the sack?
Well, let's just say that as a question. Is he asking for the sack? I don't think any manager actually asks for the sack. I think he's pushing the limits here to try and increase some sort of dialogue, try and, find out exactly what his position is. Now, I'm going to just go back to this head coach business, right? Because sometimes when you have verbal exchanges with the ownership and the board, sometimes you can go down the line of, I'm going to be the manager. Okay, but we're in the contract. We'll put head coach. I mean, that's what's going to be in the contract, so you know. But you are the manager. Does that make sense to you, Madge? That verbally might have been said to him.
100%.
But actually, in the contract, it says head coach, and I think that's what's happened here.
It's like when you come to the radio, said you do a bit of hosting with Madge, but you're the pundit.
I was going to say something else then. Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's true. So let's just say there is obviously what is surfaced here is tension. There's massive tension here somewhere, and something will give. That's what happened.
And you know yourself, Pards, yeah? Big egos flying around.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the high.
Absolutely.
When you've done what Ruben Amorim's done in his career, for example, in Portugal, etc., he's a top manager. And then he's been treated.
He didn't do for long.
He didn't do for long, but at the end of the day, you take that, right?
Yeah.
When you've gone away and you've won the league manager of the year, the spring in your step must have been pretty spicy.
Well, I would say, when I look at technical directors, right, of which there are many in the Premier League, and you look at their CVs, well, what have they actually done other than kind of got some transfers in, got a lot of credit for that?
Won a Premier League.
Pardon?
Jason Wilcox won a Premier League, didn't he?
As a player?
Yeah.
I'm talking about as a coach, as a manager, as a tactician.
Should we go and find out what's happened at the Etihad? Because it's half-time. Let's go over to Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it is half-time where it is Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. A bright start from Chelsea, who came close after 3 minutes from a Reece James corner. That was cleared off the line by Josko Gvardiol. But then it was City who went through the gears. Phil Foden coming close on a couple of occasions. Erling Haaland with a header just wide, but he also had a shot deflected and saved by Jorgensen in the Chelsea goal. He has hit the post as well, Erling Haaland. And let's not forget, he's looking for his 150th goal in a City shirt. But City have been dominant in this first half, and I expect more in the second half. They have been absolutely fantastic. Chelsea need to come up with more. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0.
Yeah, looking at a very dominant Manchester City this afternoon, aren't we, Pards, watching it here in the studio. They look good.
Strong. Every player, every department looks, on it today.
Yeah.
Be surprised if Chelsea get anything there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to the phone lines. Matthew joins us. He's a Man United fan. Good evening, Matthew.
Good evening. Great show as always, guys.
Top man. How are you feeling with those comments? Because, you know, as a Manchester United fan, you've been on a bit of a roller coaster ride over the last 10 years with managers and trying to be settled. This feels unsettling from the outside looking in.
100%. I mean, it's not a roller coaster you want the fast track pass to, is it? I mean, I just want to say, obviously, he's had a talking to after this game today.
Yeah.
And I think it's his inexperience, which demonstrates why he's a head coach and not actually a manager, to bring them comments out. It's going to not bring anything to the table, is it? He's making it basically. He's sort of forgot the team at that moment and wants to just protect his innocence of I'm trying and it's the club. Look, it's no secret what Manchester United has been like for a very long time. So if he's getting a shock as to how he's been treated, then he's a fool. But at the end of the day, my opinion is if he's going in 18 months, we don't need to tread water. You know, thanks for the info. On your way, we go. I know it sounds horrendous, but we have to go again. You know, I'm really curious to ask, really, Alan, what is it an appealing job to do? You know, to go to Manchester United, regardless of what they offer you. If they offered you everything, is it an appealing job or not? Would you go?
Well, that's a good question because obviously it's going to be, you know, the criteria of the manager that they're after. Let's say it's Maresca, for example, that, you know, might be on their radar. Would he go there? I think he would. I think, you know, you know, even for big managers, it's still a massive club. What needs to be understood, and what I think, and I think you're spot on actually. I think he's shown some inexperience today, Amorim, because I think what you've said is quite right. I think he has had a talking to after the game. There have been words. He's got hot-headed, and he's gone in that press conference and released that heat in him. And an experienced manager, I don't think would have done that. And if I go back to the likes of Harry Redknapp or Sam or myself or something like that, I think we'd have been okay with that. You know, we'd deal with it tomorrow, you know, privately. But let's just go back to where Man United are. You know, when I look at them, I don't know about how you feel, but it just looks so short in quality when you compare it to the top teams in the Premier League at the moment. The back three, the back four, whichever you shape it up, the goalie, the midfield, okay, the top of the pitch suddenly looks okay, but everywhere else, wow, there's a hell of a job to do.
But the thing is, with all of that said, they sit currently 5th in the Premier League with no European competition.
Yeah, but there's, but there's like 4 points.
I know that.
Between 14th place. Like, no, because I'm not having that. Because, no, the bottom line is that this Manchester United team really is kind of like, he is scraping around, Amorim. I do feel for him in terms of some of his substitutions, you know, taking experienced defenders on and putting young defenders on in the 85th, 60th minute and all that. I don't get it. There's some things he does that just, I don't know. The pressure he's under has come out today in the light, hasn't it?
In a big way.
And it has been showing in some of his decisions. That's and I think that's some of the heat that he's getting from Gary Neville and Rio and Scholesy in particular. I think it's because of that.
Why do people care so much about what Gary Neville says? Well, I love Gary Neville as a pundit, but if I was in a job, I was like, well, I'm the manager. That's Gary Neville. He's got so much. He's got so much sway.
No, I think the problem is when what you don't understand, Madge, when you're at a big club like that, and I had it at Newcastle a little bit. The local media just keep ramming it down your throat all the time. Oh, Gary Neville said this. Gary Neville said that. You know what I mean? So it kind of irks with you. So I understand why he's sort of, you know, name checked him. But the point I'm saying is the frustration that those guys are having is because I think Amorim is showing some immaturity at times in his decision making.
Absolutely. 03717 22 3344 is the number to call. I've got plenty of Man United fans trying to get through to us, and we will take your calls. Let us know what you feel about the manager. It's, you know, the comments that he's come out tonight, not just the comments, but the way that he said it, as Pard said, very heated, and it comes with a lot of emotion for me in that. I had a message here from Ben, who's a Tranmere fan. He says, talkSPORT's got some big hitters for sure. Simon Jordan, Ali McCoy, Gabby and Darren Bent. However, imagine Pardew, an undeniable force, like Shearer and Sutton back in the day, or Cole and York. What a lovely, that's
nice, isn't it?
There's some big names there. Cole and York together. Unbelievable, weren't they? Shearer and Sutton, original SAS.
Yeah, do you know what? I was just thinking about which player I would prefer at the top of my pitch. I think I'll go for Sutton Shearer, to be honest.
Would you?
Yeah.
Not York and Cole.
Well, just like the all-round tenacity that they had, and the size and the quality and everything else. So
I'm going York and Cole for strict vibes. They had the vibes
for the after party.
Yeah, man. York even love it after party. 03717 22 33 It is the final word phone, and the phone lines are open. Have your say on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT News.
With your news headlines, I'm Charlie Pritchard. Good.
Good evening. It is the final word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and former Premier League manager Alan Pardew, as we take your calls on all of today's action. And of course, we'll be talking about the rest of the weekend's action, as well as having the updates from the Etihad, as Manchester City currently lead Chelsea 1-0. It's half-time at the moment. Pardew, should we go back to the phone lines?
Let's go back to the phone lines.
Let's go get George as a Man United fan. Good evening, George.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Regarding Amorim's comments, it's totally disrespectful to the club and to all the supporters. You can't just say I'm a manager and not a coach. So what were you brought in for? Because you had ideas, and you are a coach. I don't care what he says. I'm a manager or a coach. No, this is not a supermarket. This is a football club. If you're a manager of the whole system, everything from start to finish. And it's like in Fergie's days, when all the under 18s and under 16s and under 14s and whatever, the youth system, they have a system to follow so that they can step into the first team as and when required. And that's what they did. That's what Liverpool do. That's what City do. But to come up with comments like this and to say I'm only here for 18 months and then I'm gone. So what? You don't respect the club? You don't think you just come here for the money or what? Just to have it on your CV that you managed United one day in your life?
Yeah, George, I mean, listen, that you were expressing exactly what I would suggest a lot of United fans are feeling tonight with Amorim, where he's just kind of like the heat has just got to him too much. He said too much. And you're quite right. In the way, when you're manager of a football club, it doesn't matter if it's a non-league club, a team in League One or the Premier League, you are representing the club. You are paid by the club. You represent to bring that team and that unity together. And actually what he's done there is really thrown a massive spanner into that kind of what you're meant to do. He's more or less gone, no, this is actually about me now, and that is a problem.
Remember, he was so stubborn in playing 3 at the back all the time,
yes.
And then when we did go to 4 against Newcastle, we actually won a game, and then the next day he reverted against Wolves. I drove 500 miles.
Wow.
To go and watch that drab, to watch that snooze.
Yeah.
And I thought I picked that game because I live in South London. I picked that game. I thought, it'll be exciting after Newcastle. There'll be some goals. It was such a boring drab, 1-1 draw, and we were lucky to get away with it because we had a deflected goal as well. Theirs was clean cut. Ours wasn't. But to play like that, so where's the motivation of the manager then at halftime, or even before the game? Where was the coaching, and why did he revert back to 3? Because everyone had a go at him, saying, "Oh, look, you finally changed." And then there was that comment by something about the Vatican or something. If you remember a few weeks back,
yeah, he said the Pope couldn't change me. Yeah,
something the Pope can't change me as well. And then we played 4 at the back and we ended up with 7 at the back, but we won. We got the 3 points. And the supporters were happy. Forget about the display, but at least it was a better display. And look at today. We turned up against Leeds. We could have won that game easily. But we were actually pressing, running. So where was that on against Wolves? And at home as well. So what's a manager's job now then? Well, what's the difference between a manager and a coach? So what, you're a manager and then you tell the club to hire all the different coaches, the goalkeeping coach, there's a reserve coach, et cetera, because there are so many damn coaches these days. In the old days, under Sir Matt Busby, there was only one boss, one coach. That was it.
Yeah, it's a great call, George. Thank you very much. A great call from George there, who's right in terms of, well, you are the manager. You are in charge of all these different things. I just think there's so much noise at football clubs now. It must be difficult because, of course, you had a very infamous chairman when you was at Newcastle, for example, who was probably one of the sort of first chairmen in like recent history that people knew the chairman. Of the back in the day, people didn't know who the chairman of a football club was.
No.
And nowadays, people are like, well, that's the sport director, that's the chairman. How difficult must it be to be a manager trying to work under that? Well,
Brailsford, what's his role at Man United? He's now left. Now we got Jason Wilcox. How powerful is he? Is he close to Jim? Is he closer than Amorim to Jim Ratcliffe? I mean, the people who really own the football club, the Americans, they've just gone under the radar.
I don't even hear their names anymore.
You don't even talk about them. It's weird, isn't it?
The Glazers, every 5 minutes, Manchester United Glazers, Manchester United Glazers.
Yeah, and Glazers out. Yeah. We had the shirts. What was it? They was all wearing the colours.
The green and yellow.
Green and yellow, wasn't it? Yeah.
The old school Man United.
Yeah.
It's. Would you want to be a Premier League manager now, Pards?
Well, I think it's very difficult. I'm going to talk about Chelsea later because it looks like if Liam Rosner goes in there, I've got some comments about that I want to make. It's very, very difficult. But I mean, of course, when you've been a coach and you have ideas, you'll take the challenge on. There'll always be someone to take it on. Do you know what I mean? And once you get in there, though, it's a little bit different.
Do you know what I like? The fact that Martin O'Neill went to Celtic, won a load of games, and just dipped off again.
And Nancy come in.
I know, and the old school boys.
Yeah.
And that's why it was funny when I was.
But he had experience. He just went in and used his experience. You know what I mean? And that's really not being taken into account in the Premier League at all.
I think that's been taken away from a lot of different things and roles in life in general.
Correct.
You know,
I agree.
There was almost like a level of ageism to something.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about experience.
And you know what? Sometimes, you know, when you go in those DIY stores, they hire a lot of older people, which you know is one of their policies, and you get such a nicer greeting.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think, why don't they do that elsewhere? You know, these people who are 60, 50, 60, 70, they got the experience, they know how to deal with people, and you get a proper service.
Well, again,
that's outside of football.
As you said before with Amorim, right? 20 years on from now, he won't make those comments because he will be in a position in his life where he will remove himself and remove the ego and go, you know what, like you said, I'm going to go deal with that tomorrow. And that's how you deal with things correctly. 03717 22 3344 is the number. Let's go over to Anthony, who's a Man United fan. How are we, Anthony?
Hello, gents. You all right?
Yeah, very well. What was your thoughts and feeling on the gaffer today?
I think them comments are outrageous. I've been a big supporter of Amorim, and the league position that we're in at the moment is okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Compared to last season, is okay. But if you're a manager, then what about your tactics that you didn't change in the other games that we were drawing in? Like the Everton game, for instance, where we had the red card. What about the change of tactics then? If you're the manager, not the head coach, how about change the tactics so we actually win a game and not lose it?
Yeah, well, that exactly falls to him. No one else is going to tell him what to do at half-time or in that moment, are they?
I've been a big supporter of Amorim, but I think today he's just, with him saying that he's only got 18 months left, maybe it is time now, but the question is, who do we turn to?
Well, there's a lot of options. For me, for example, if I'm a Manchester United fan, right, I'm looking at Glasner, because Palace at the moment, I know Pardew won't want to hear it because, of course, affiliation with Palace, but he probably feels like he's not been backed in the right way. And, you know, I think
they just broke the transfer record, by the way.
I know, which is
by
the
some
irony.
Distance.
I know, 35 mil, but again, with someone like Glasner, is he gone as far, especially if Gay is going to go and, you know, if that squad starts to dissemble, so to speak, you know, there are people out there, you know, De Zerbi, is he worth coming back to the Premier League?
I don't think we should start talking about replacements just yet, but let's just stick on where we are tonight, because, you know, those quotes of obviously we're getting a lot of Man United feedback here, and Anti's just one of many that we've had already. You know, it just doesn't sound right, does it? It sounds like he's just put a major flag right in the middle of the pitch, which has got Amorim written right on it.
He's done a Graham Souness.
Yes, that's what he's done. And I can't quite understand why he's done it. But then I can't understand some of his substitutions lately. I just think, you know, you have to. Well, it is hard to kind of comprehend. It's even hard for me to kind of explain just how much pressure you're under when you've got that much press to do, that much fan base around you constantly. It's a deep, deep pressure he's under.
Absolutely. 03717 223344 is the number to call as well. We'll be speaking about Spurs, another manager who's under pressure. Boos ringing round the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
And then we'll talk about that home form, shall we? Wow.
We're in 26 now, not 25. That's not been left behind.
No.
A win in 26, the first home game. You want to get that going because, again, the football comes thick and fast. We've got games again.
This week. Next week.
And then we've got the FA Cup as well. It could be curtains for certain managers if the next couple of weeks don't go right. And
I mean, I look at the Premier League. You know, look at West Ham. I mean, obviously we ain't even got to them.
Wow.
Yet. I mean,
they don't want us to get to them.
I had a few messages yesterday. I mean, they are absolutely fuming.
I've never heard the word embarrassing used as much as I heard on talkSPORT yesterday in the comms of it. It was literally like, this is embarrassing. Like, it was so poor. The two centre-halves were dubbed as the worst centre-half pairing they've ever seen in the Premier League history. It was bad. It was seething, to say the least. And when I'm speaking to my West Ham friends, they're prepared to go down. They're looking at it going,
I did warn you, didn't I? I mean, how many weeks have I been saying about this situation at West Ham? This is not just crept up on them. This has been there all year, and wow, I worry for them.
03717 223344. Keep your Man United calls coming into us on that number, and especially on Amorim's mic drop comments. But next, we get stuck into another manager who's under massive pressure. Thomas Frank, this is the final word finding here on talkSPORT. We imagined Pards are looking for his Sunday night chocolate. Where is it?
Calling him Ben Thatcher.
Apparently we're out Maltesers, apparently, Pards.
Well, we always need a bit of a chocolate, mate, on a Sunday night. I think most people sit at home at this time, having a little bit of chocolate, cup of tea or whatever,
That's
just,
it.
Drifting over the what's happened at the weekend.
Or be listening to us talk about the games that are going on. Of course, Manchester City and Chelsea still currently 1-0.
Well, I would like to think that they've got the images on maybe from, Sky TV, obviously, and sister company to ours, but I have our commentary on. That would make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to listen to.
Bit more interesting
on a Sunday night. Keep those calls coming into us 03717 22 3344 on a huge day in the Premier League. Now, let's talk about another bad home day for Thomas Frank and Spurs as their game against Sunderland finished 1-1. Before we discuss the game, let's hear from both managers. Before we get Sunderland manager Regis Lebriz's views, let's hear from the Tottenham gaffer, Thomas Frank, who gives his thoughts on the game.
Tottenham Frank.
I think as I said many times, is that I love the fans, how they backed us and pushed us throughout the 90-plus minutes. And I'm sure that they acknowledge especially the first half and a lot of good bit of play, and acknowledge the hard work and effort the team put out there. They're just disappointed like we are that we didn't get 3 points.
What is Brian Brobby like as a person? Because I think as fans we all see him as this Premier League striker that was ready-made for this league, and his physicality, the way he can run, the way he can finish. Is he a big personality off the field as well?
He's quiet, really calm and composed in the dressing room, but on the pitch he's a fighter. So I think these two faces of Brian are really good.
The managers there, the gaffers, Thomas Frank and Regis Lebriz from Sunderland. Sunderland, again, I've got to doff my cap to them because, of course, they're up in the Premier League. We talk about the Pards analogy. I speak to all my friends about it. You come up to the Premier League, you want to win 10 games. That should see you safe. Sunderland, they've won 7, they've drawn 9, only lost 4 games, currently 8th in the Premier League. It's looking all right for Sunderland, Pards.
Definitely. They're almost there.
Yeah.
And when you're coming up from the division below, and you're coming through the playoffs in particular. Wow, that is a great achievement so far.
And I know, obviously, since that wonderful victory against your former club, Newcastle, they've had, 4 draws now, but those draws against Tottenham, Manchester City, Leeds, who would be rivals, and away at Brighton. So those are great draws. So well done to Sunderland indeed. But we have to talk about Spurs, of course. They won a goal up. It ended finishing 1-1. It was deservedly so from Sunderland, in my opinion. It was always coming. The goal was coming. How much pressure is Thomas Frank under?
Well, firstly, you was at the game.
No, I actually didn't go.
Oh.
In the end, I gave my tickets away to some friends because our show, of course, you know, it's very difficult. But I still got caught up in the Spurs traffic.
Oh, I see. That's what.
So I should have just.
You.
I should have just gone to the game.
Yeah,
I know.
Well,
I mean, what it is, you can't bring a bag in there, so I can't bring my laptop. So
I see.
But yeah, it was. I watched the game from start to finish, and we got to start with a bit of a caveat because Thomas Frank has been without all season, and now, just to put it in perspective, Kulu, Maddison, Solanke, right? We've sold Son, and we've just sold Brendan Johnson. Those 5 are responsible for all of our goals last year. So that's gone from the team. You could say the last 2 games before this were clean sheets. We only let a goal in today, so it's only let 1 goal in 3 games. So there's so many positives he could spin. Do you think he's under pressure? Because you're not a Spurs fan.
No, the reason I don't think he's under pressure, right, although the home form would suggest he is massively under pressure, is because the noises I'm hearing is that Spurs are going to be active in the market, in this transfer market, and quite active. And I think with the new ownership that they've got there, I think he's sitting there on 27 points. Let's be honest, you're 4 points off Manchester United at the moment, who are 5th. So you're not a million miles away. A couple of signings, crucial signings, if they get them right, could make a difference or not. Where would you, if let's just say Thomas Frank is going to get some money, and you're Thomas Frank, you're feeling a little bit more sort of confident that things are going to improve. Which 2 players are you bringing in?
Oh, well, in the transfer window?
Yeah, in this January window, right now, to get you up there.
We can't get him. Semenyo was the guy.
Well, okay, Semenyo is gone.
So
we know that.
So we can't get that. Then you're looking across the league. You're thinking, what do we need?
No, but what position?
Oh, position-wise, left side is. We need a left winger.
Because Kudos is done, and he on the right. We're happy with him.
Yeah, he went off injured today, unfortunately, early doors. Okay. But from the left wing, we need someone there for sure, right?
And Brendan's just gone to Palace as well, which is weak in that side.
We need a striker.
Yeah,
100%. You could do with a number 6 really, and we need some cover like wing backs. Ben Davies played today. Not that there's anything wrong with Ben Davies, but he's been there over 10 years. I just think this painful rebuild that Pochettino spoke about years ago, we're only seeing it now. Because the reason why I say that is this is the first season without Son or Kane for 10 plus years. And we're finally at that point of bad transfers, bad windows. Even you mentioned it a couple of seasons ago. That doesn't strike a window of someone going for the top 4, etc. All of those things. And now Daniel Levy's finally gone. We are now looking at the guy going, so this is what was going to happen afterwards because we didn't get this, and this right. I'd even go as far as to say, and I don't know if he was putting up any trees today in that 4-2 loss to Brentford, but Jack Grealish for me screams to be a Spurs player. Still gets the most fouls in the league. Like he still draws defense.
I think Everton will be quite happy for you to take him, from what I can hear.
Really?
I don't know. Let me have a little look at Ross. Is he awake? Yeah, he's nodding, you see. Now, it's funny, isn't it? Because he initially done really well. Then he's had this Christmas period, hasn't he? Where we all know Jack
gone out for a beer,
gone off on the rails a little bit, had a couple of Maltesers and a Coke somewhere. So there's that side to him, which obviously is not, that's not what you want. But he's got the character. I understand what you're saying. He's got the shabazz, isn't he, about him?
There's no stars at Spurs. There's not a star. There is no star. Right now, it says it all, for example.
What's the shirt sales?
This is what I'm saying. So it's going to be Van der Ven. Van der Ven is our superstar right now. And Romero.
Centre-back.
Yeah, our centre-backs are. And once upon a time, you go back to the days when, I hate to say his name, but Sol Campbell was at Spurs and he was the captain. He was a big star because we were lacking superstars, all across the pitch, apart from when we got Klinsmann and that kind of
Teddy Sheringham.
Teddy and all that. But right now, when we had a few...
Leonardo.
Glenn. Growing up.
Chris Waddle.
Yeah, but growing up for me, even like Darren Anderton was a superstar for me.
Yeah.
We had some great players.
He was a good player, Darren.
Oh, mate, he was my favourite growing up. He was literally my idol. But you look at Spurs now and that team with Thomas Frank you've got to give him the justification that he hasn't had the Solanke and the Kulu and the Madders and those kind of players to draw for. But what I would say is, then if we're going to sell Brennan Johnson that way that we have, and I kind of like it to a degree because there's no sentiment involved. You know, he was part of that winning team last year. Even though he didn't really touch the ball, it was his goal. He got given the goal, etc. Seems like a lovely lad. And I really, when I saw him at Forest, I thought this kid's got a bit about him.
Yeah, but, you know, his stats were good for Spurs. You know, his goal scoring and his assists were decent. Yeah. There's no problem with that.
He's top goal scorer.
He gets in the box.
Yeah.
But and I think he'll do well at Palace. I mean, they've had another tough day today. They look tired and out a bit at the moment, Palace. And again, they've got another 2 games this week. So it's a tough little run they're on. But when I look at Spurs, this is the worry I have for Spurs. One, there's no superstar, right? Which is, I think, is a bit of a problem. Although Kudus, maybe. If that's the shirt I would buy, by the way.
My son has. My son's got his third kit.
Well, there you go. He's a smart boy. There's a lack of control. There's a lack of kind of constant pressure, particularly at home.
Big time. That's what happened today.
Know, that is the key to, you know, when you're at home, you've got to have those spells, those 5-10 minute spells where you've got attack. I was watching Newcastle today against Palace. They had it today. There's periods in that game where it was just coming at Palace and something was going to give. Ooh. And I don't actually sense that at Spurs.
No, I'm with you. Absolutely. And that is exactly, it's not almost like you watch the game parts. That's exactly what happened today. We started really well in the first half. And again, because you haven't got the right players, Richarlison, unfortunately, is not the guy. You know, he had chances in the first half. He didn't take a couple of chances. If Harry Kane and Son on those pitch, and they had those chances, bang, we're scoring. And you're 3-0 up. And then the game's a complete different thing. So, 03717 22 33 44. Let's go to Tom, who's a Spurs fan. He was at the game today. How are you, Tom?
Hello, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, well, it's just another Sunday where Spurs have dropped points at home, and it's welcome to 2026.
It's another miserable drive home. Oh. Got me oldest and my nephew in the car, bored to death the whole game.
But that's it, isn't it? It's being bored to death. And I must admit, you know, even under sort of Mourinho and Conte, it wasn't the most exciting football to watch at times. But we had Harry Kane, we had Son, we had those players that could draw something out of nothing, literal moments. And you look back at those times, and that's the reason why we got through those games. We ain't got that anymore.
Yeah, 100%. They papered over the cracks without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I don't think none of our forward players are good enough. Every time Tell gets the ball, he's in a crossing position, turns around, comes back, ends up back at the centre half. It's just boring. It's just terrible football at the minute. It's slow. The slow build-ups are no good. And even with Kudus, just saying a minute ago, yeah, Kudus is one of our better players. Over the last 2 months, even he's been poor.
Yeah. But I just think for him probably as well, he looks like the kind of player that he needs to be in a rhythm with other players, and then he will show his best.
But even at West Ham, you know, he fits and starts a little bit with him. You know, there is like spells he has, and then he has quiet spells. But, you know, most offensive players you could throw that mantle at.
So, Tom, what's the answer? This is what I want to ask people. Where do we go from 2 weeks? If we sack Frank, it doesn't make that team any better, does it?
I was speaking to the fella next to me. It's one of them. What's the point in getting rid of him? Otherwise, you're going to give him January, right? You're going to buy the players, and then if we get rid of him, we've got to start again in the summer. It's a hard one, really. We do need a big rebuild. We need a big rebuild. We need a good 6 or 7 signings. I think the only ones you probably keep at the minute are the 2 centre halves and Paulinho and Kudus, possibly.
Yeah.
Other than that, the rest of them aren't good enough.
And Bergvall and people like that, some of the younger lads who I think they deserve some time, like Bergvall.
Bergvall's got a future, he's got a future.
Archie Gray even I think is a good player as well. So I just think I'd like to see a mixture of bringing in a couple of big names and utilising the youth, including academy players. We're not seeing anyone coming through. I'm hearing all the time, and I'm watching the young lad who was on the bench today for Spurs.
Look at him. I mean, as an example of that, look at Maine at Wolves yesterday.
Yeah.
Who's out of the academy, right? Yeah. And he's been doing well in the under-21s. Comes in, bang, bang, bang. They look a different team, Wolves.
Luca Barnett-Williams is who I was talking about for Spurs. He's scoring 5 goals a game in the academy, right? Give these players a chance because they're fearless. Right now, they haven't been overcoached. They haven't had their sort of, you know, maverick.
Or the 6 or 7 coaches that are around the first team these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches at Spurs, you know? Yeah. And so this person would come in, I want to show what I'm about. and then they'll
A little bit of hunger.
A little bit of hunger, a little bit of bravery.
Yeah.
Right now, there's another huge game happening in the Premier League right now as Manchester City are taking on managerless Chelsea. And with all the latest, here's talkSPORT's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, 66 minutes on the clock, still Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. And City are doing all the pressing. Erling Haaland coming close on a couple of occasions in the second half. Phil Foden's been really lively. But Chelsea fancy their chances. They're trying to catch Man City on the break with a pace from Pedro Neto. He had Chelsea's best chance in his second half. Should have really scored and fired it over the top with a crossbar. But they are trying to control themselves. But at 1-0, still game on. Man City 1, Chelsea 0.
Thank you very much, Mickey. We'll keep you updated during the show. The talkSPORT Breakfast Show returns on Monday morning from 6 a.m. where Jeff Stelling is joined by the Arsenal invincible Ray Parlour. But for now, the phone lines are open for you on a huge day of Premier League football. 03 717 22 3344, especially if we want to discuss one of the under pressure Premier League managers. And we will hear from you next on the Final Word Friday here on talkSPORT.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting, and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with. Cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impact with the racket. The call of new balls please seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point, the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour optic yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word Phone In with Grammy Award nominated me, Majestic, alongside League Manager of the Year, Alan Pardew, just throwing away some nominations and wins there.
Grammy nominated.
I know, nominated, not one though.
Yeah, brilliant. It's not been done yet.
No.
No.
End of Jan.
Well, you're still a contender.
Yeah, and we are here on a huge day of football in the Premier League and the EFL. In the early kick-off, Leeds and Manchester United drew 1 apiece before Ruben Amorim made some explosive post-match comments we've been talking about during the show. Elsewhere, Spurs dropped points at home once again, this time against Sunderland, to put Thomas Frank under even more pressure, and Fulham produced 2 world-class goals to draw Liverpool in a game that went right to the 97th minute. Keith Andrews' Brentford scored 4 past Everton, and in the Pardew derby it was all smiles for Eddie Howe as they picked up maximum points against Crystal Palace. Now, it's time for you and your opinions. Give us a call, 03717 22 3344 to air your views here on The Final Word on talkSPORT. Just had a message from Ben. He said, Mad saying Spurs need big names is the reason why Spurs will always be pony. Quality names, quality players, not names. You're just like Man United. No, Ben, what I meant by that is, for example, Berbatov, Modric, you know, these players here, even Sonny, like some good acquisitions that make people get off their seats. We don't have that. When I mean that star power...
It's no good staring at me, right? As if you're on a sermon, right? I understand where you're going, and I'm with you. So, yeah, okay.
I'll just let him bend, though.
Yeah, just there you go.
Because I know
what you like. You get a little bee in your bonnet.
No, because I want to say, right, for example, remember David Ginola at Spurs?
Well, of course I do.
Right? He got Player of the Year, PFA Player of the Year.
He did.
The year Man United won the treble, right? And Spurs finished 11th.
Did he really?
Yeah. And we won the League Cup, but Spurs finished 11th. Man United won the treble, and David Ginola won Player of the Year because he was that good. Well, Spurs have always had someone like that.
He looked that good.
Fantastic looking guy, isn't he? He could turn any of us.
Yeah, he's a good looking chap.
03717 22 3344 is the number. Let's go over to the phone line. Sia joins us. How are we, Sia?
Evening, lads.
How are you? All right?
Not bad.
Let me just ask your opinion quickly. Just Thomas Frank, are you behind him or not?
I want him to be gone tonight.
Tonight, gone.
Tonight. He should have left after Chelsea game. He should have left after Chelsea game.
The Chelsea game was horrendous, wasn't it?
It was embarrassing. Arsenal, same. Nottingham Forest, same. Brentford, same. Sunderland, same. All of them. The football quality is atrocious.
But what about the players, though? Does that land at the lack of...
Players are good, man. Players are decent, half decent. All of them, most of them are international players.
Mm-hmm.
Charleston, Bentancur, Kudus, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogi, few others. Anyway, I want him... bring just Harry Redknapp until the end of the season.
Get Harry in.
Honestly, just bring Harry Redknapp, yeah.
But I think West Ham might want Harry as well.
He plays better than him. He plays better. Just name one player, one half-decent player says, listen, I'm going to play for Thomas Frank, the way they play. Name me one decent player. Comes to Tottenham, play for Thomas Frank.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I had a conversation with a Premier League winner in the summer, right? I'm not going to mention their name, who said, I'd like to come and play for Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank is a coach that is actually respected. I know what you're saying, though, in terms of, he's not a Conte name. Someone's going, I'm rushing to play for Thomas Frank. But he is respected as a coach. He was respected as a coach at Brentford. And I think we'd be doing him a disservice to not recognise how well he'd done at Brentford. But this is the step up. We've seen the step up for Graham Potter, who's a good friend of yours, Pards, to Chelsea as well. It didn't work out there. Maybe this is the situation with Thomas Frank. Is this maybe a step too far for him, Pards? I don't know. Sia thinks it is.
Well, let's go. Managers is a strange thing at times. Talking about managers, let's go back 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Irola at Bournemouth.
Yes,
right? Now, look, he's gone 10 games without a win, right? Or something like that. And really kind of huffing and puffing. He's going to lose his best player. They're in big trouble, by the way, Bournemouth. So... And he's flagged. Like, if I said to you, if he was Spurs manager 10 weeks ago, you'd go, 100%.
Yeah,
he's coming in. Yeah. And Thomas Frank's been there. His flag was at the top of the pile at Brentford, quite rightly. Done a superb job. And now he's come to Tottenham, and suddenly the whole picture of him, and you start getting criticised for this and that, and you're not this, and blah, blah, blah. He's got to just get through this period. When I look from the outside, forget about Harry Redknapp, when I look at with my head on and I look at Spurs, I look at the playing staff and I think it's okay. But it's no better than that. It's not getting your Champions League football, that squad. No. I don't care what manager you put in.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Thank you very much, Sia. Let's go to some of the messages we got here. Chloe joins us on the messages. She says, "Hi guys, I was at the game tonight. I felt like the atmosphere was really negative."
Where was that? Where was she?
At Spurs.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely uncertain times, and when Frank takes Gray off and later chucks on Spence, how can we have faith in him? He's got us defending a point at home. Tough times for Spurs right now. Thomas out. That's from Chloe. Another message here from Neil, who says, Happy New Year to you guys. I hope you had a good Christmas. Hi, Alan and Madge. Do you think the Liverpool manager is under pressure? That's from Neil in the High Peak district. So that's another manager we will talk about on slot, because I'm sure there's pressure there, of course.
But the nature of the beast, and it's getting like more and more every year, because more podcasts, more outlets, more voices, and actually some of the voices, in my opinion, don't carry a lot of weight, but they've still got a voice, if you know what I mean.
So I can say
there's some YouTubers and podcasters, right? All spouting out about this, about this, about this, about this. Oh, he's got to go, he's got to go. So there's more pressures on Premier League manager now than there's ever been. And I'll go back to my time. I go back to Alex Ferguson before me, etc., etc., etc. Bill Shankly, the whole shebang. There is more outside pressure to Premier League footballers and managers now than there's ever been. That's a fact.
Well, let's go to the Etihad, get an update of Manchester City against Chelsea.
Yeah, 78 minutes on the clock. Still Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. But we've just had a coming together from Liam Delap and Kushinov, the Manchester City defender. Kushinov shielded the ball out of play as Delap was running through. And as the ball went out of play, Madge, he shoved Kushinov into the barriers behind the goal. And 5 or 6 Man City players have come across furious with Liam Delap. He's just said, he's just apologised to the defender. But I'm very fortunate, or he's very fortunate. No, he actually is. He's going to get a yellow card for this shove. Very nasty from Delap, but still Man City 1, Chelsea 0.
Thank you very much.
He's got history of that, Delap. He does that all the time, these nasty little things. He used to do them when he was at Ipswich, and he's done them since he's been at Chelsea. Almost always on the verge of, like, doing something silly, getting sent off. I don't know if he's trying to be a hard man or something. That's ridiculous, the way he's done there.
Very dangerous. Unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely unnecessary. That's why the Man City players are so incensed, throwing him into the TV screens. It's terrible.
Jay has messaged us. He said Frank has to be sacked after the latest debacle, along with some of his team. Frank and the team deserve all the boos they get. The board has to act before it gets any worse.
Oh.
Frank out.
Who's that?
That's from Jay. Wow. I'm surprised that the Frank out brigade is really starting to take some momentum.
We're talking about two managers mainly tonight, right? Two of our favourite clubs on this show, Spurs and Man United, both managers under severe pressure, and actually both of them we've praised many times about how good they are with the media, and at the moment both falling down in that department. Actually, in my opinion, sometimes Thomas Frank for me should go on the front foot a little bit more. I feel.
I think that maybe the pressure is now getting to him, and like you say. These press conferences, when you're at Brentford, are a bit different to when you're at Spurs.
100%.
And did you notice that when you went into is it Newcastle? Probably you felt that the most.
West Ham. I went from Reading to West Ham.
That's it.
You're talking about tenfold. And actually, I had 5 feature writers, chief correspondents of newspapers, West Ham fans at the time. Lee Clayton being one of them. He used to be boss of this show.
Shout out to Lee.
Yeah. They was, and I was a young coach and made some mistakes, and they certainly let me know in no uncertain terms. So, yeah, I mean, it's a different pond.
It must be a lot of pressure. Was the Moose about then as well?
The Moose has always been about. He's always haunted me after games. I see him as his shadow emerging.
Oh, the Moose is here.
Bards, I'm your mate. Do you remember?
Let's go to another Spurs fan who's at the game today. How are we, Elliot?
Yeah, very well, mate. How are you? Happy New Year, gents. Great
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you,
Elliot.
thank you. Same to you. Listen, I was actually quite surprised at how many Frank outs they've had this evening. You was at the game today. I did think we started off well, but then it petered out a little bit. What was your thoughts on the game?
I genuinely, I don't think the performance was as bad as some Spurs fans are making out. The squad is really, really thin at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
The first part, like the first 25, 30 minutes, we were attacking, it was free-flowing, and then the gaps start to appear. And the thing that people seem to forget is Sunderland are no joke at the moment.
No.
They're holding all the top teams to draws. Yes, they might be newly promoted, but they're hard to break down, and that's where we're struggling. That's where we have the biggest gaps in the squad. And I think Frank's tactics weren't to blame tonight or this afternoon. It was just one of those things where we've got a few parts of the pitch that we need to bolster and we need to go and recruit for in this transfer window. But I'd just implore Spurs fans to just stick with him, because the last process we saw through was Pochettino.
Absolutely.
And since then, we've had this hire and fire mentality every 18 months of the same part of the merry-go-round, and it just doesn't work.
But my only qualm a little bit is, like, for example, today with Dane Scarlett, yeah? They brought him on, you know, when it was about 85 minutes. It's like, make that a little bit earlier. We know, like, Richarlison's had chance after chance, don't you think, Elliot, to show us what he can and can't do. Yes, he ends up nicking a pointless goal, bless him, right? Like, you know, when he scores a worldie against Arsenal when you're 4-1 down, right? But, like, someone like that...
harsh to show he gets pointless goals.
No, I do feel for him a bit, because he's taking his shirt off and gets booked and the goals are ruled out and that. It's just like, he must feel like the world's against him, bless him. But, like, for example, Dane Scarlett, like, bringing him on with 5 minutes to go in that situation, we're never going to see if he's any good or not.
No, that's the thing as well. I think the trouble is he just looks at the bench and looks at the gaps that we've got, and you just can't fill them with the squad that he's got available.
But, like, you know, for example, with Luca Williams-Barnett, everyone's waxing lyrical about. He is the hot topic when it comes to our academy. Apparently other teams are in for him, etc. as well. You know, Pards, how do you embed those players in? How do you bring them in? We would never have seen Harry Kane come through at Spurs if we wasn't in a situation where we had, like, Soldado, who wasn't doing much. And Adebayo needed some backup.
That's true. I mean, usually young players get into the team because there's a major problem in the team, for example, and
like
suddenly they blossom like Wolves, and they've stuck him in. They've probably thought it's too early for him. He's probably had all those academy coaches going to him, to Russell. Well, you know, this is all. He's not ready. He's not ready yet. You know, give him. I don't think so, Gaffer. Blah blah blah. You stick him in, and he just went in like, you know, duck to water. And he looks impressive, and you know this is where, you know, you got to be brave as a manager. I remember, but some just stand out a million miles. Like I had Chamberlain at Southampton when he was 16. I had Mark Noble. They just stood out like a sore thumb. You knew they were good enough. It was just a question of an opportunity arising, and sometimes it is through injuries and a lack of form in the first team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Elliot does raise some good points about how good Sunderland have been, and you've got...
Well, Sunderland are one of the hardest working sides in the Premier League. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Even when the boys have gone to Africa, I mean, they're really kind of short-handed at the moment. They're a much better side when they're back, because they're off with AFCON, but they still really work hard, really tough team to break down. So it didn't surprise me to draw.
And, you know, just like all good radio shows, bring points back to points they made earlier.
Yes.
Experience. Now, Granit Xhaka might be one of the signs of the season.
He might well win player of the season. He's definitely in the frame, you know.
He's been absolutely tremendous. Yeah. And you know what? You know, even seeing Jordan Henderson at Brentford, etc., there's something to be said about signing these players to help embed younger players into situations where they, you know, you see Granit Xhaka today, that's a leader on the pitch. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but it's not just that, Madge. You know, what you don't see is what he's doing in the dressing room at half time. When the manager might go, it might, like, for example, I would usually make 2 or 3 points, not more than that, maybe 4 key points of what we need to do, or what we need to seal the game, or whatever. And then someone like Xhaka would stand up and throw something else in that might be even more relevant. You know, like if we drop off 5% or something like that, just a quote like that, and it's like so useful for the management team to have a player do that. Sometimes they can cover half of your work for you. I used to come in Newcastle sometimes, and Kevin Nolan would have made 2 points already, 2 really relevant points before I even got in the dressing room.
Yeah.
So, you can't put a price on that.
Absolutely. Keep those calls coming into us. 03717 223344. It's the final word on talkSPORT. Good evening, it's the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and experienced Premier League manager Alan Pardew. We're getting lost in the studio watching the end of the Man City and Chelsea game here. Trying to sort my inners out as nothing ever works. Pards, we're going to have to talk about Liverpool. Played your team that you support, Fulham.
Yeah, I mean, it was an honourable draw, I thought, all round for Liverpool and Fulham. Liverpool's strange at the moment. I mean, I'm watching that game, and for all the money they've spent, all the talent that they have, they still seem to be underperforming to me. And Fulham deserved the draw. I mean, the goal at the end is like a real highlight of the season. Reed comes off the bench, and he's a little terrier in midfield, and he ticks the team over, but he doesn't usually smash it in the top corner in such a manner. Fantastic for him and his family tonight. What a goal that was.
Yeah, we've had messages already saying, Reedy. That's from Rachel, the Fulham fan.
Yeah, Reedy.
Messages saying, Mad Sunderland had 6 players out. Don't forget, Frankie until the summer, then Poch back. Simon, the bored Spurs fan in Edinburgh.
There was a little story about Poch this week, I see.
What was it?
Something about that he'd been approached somewhere in one of the Premier League teams. Because obviously he's not done particularly well at USA at the moment. They've got the World Cup coming up, and I think they're not going to win it. I would be quite confident.
The USA, yeah, I think we can.
We can guarantee that. I think not guarantee it, but
we'll head over to talkSPORT Bet right now to see the odds on USA winning the World Cup.
So there's pretty good chance, I think, that he's going to lose his job there, or they're going to, amicably depart. Yeah. So he will be available come July.
Right, keep those calls coming into us. 03717 223344 on a huge day in the Premier League. So let's look at a crazy game at Craven Cottage, as I mentioned. Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. Wilson and Harrison score. Worldies as Liverpool failed to win for the second game in a row. Let's now hear from both Liverpool manager Arne Slot. Let's hear first from Fulham gaffer Marco Silva, who said they're working on a new deal for Harry Wilson.
We are looking, we are trying, and of course should the club trying as more they can to give the fans what they expect, and probably to give is it was my first signing. He's with me already. It's going to be the 5th season of him in the club, and of course, if you can keep him for more 3 or 4, I think it's going to be unbelievable news for the club and for himself, because at the end he would like to stay with us, but of course he's looking for himself. Is his life as well, the family life, and of course the club is going to try to do the maximum they can do to try to keep him here, because if he can do it, it's going to be very good news for the club.
Yeah, but if you follow Liverpool a little bit, I'm not too sure if everyone thought we would win it, because there are a few things that are constantly happening. One of them is that their first and only chance in the first half leads to a goal. And one of them is that we tend to concede if we are leading in the last few minutes of the game.
That was Arne Slot. And of course, Marco Silva, the Fulham gaffer, talking about that 2-2 draw at Craven Cottage, which sees Liverpool still in the top 4, but way off of the top 3 at the moment, which and way off Arsenal with 14 points clear of them. Liverpool sort of still stuttering to get it going, aren't they?
And Arne Slot's comments after are always a little bit negative. He's talking about referees, he's talking about this, it's late goals, it's always a little bit kind of down. And I think that's where Liverpool are. They look like just down mood-wise. And that's usually Liverpool is one of the clubs you associate with up form, up kind of spirit. You go to Anfield, it's like, wow, it's like another level. It's a little, not quite there. I mean, going back to the Fulham situation with Harry Wilson, he did a couple of things today. Obviously, he scored a great goal, left foot, which he's probably got one of the most technically gifted left feet in the Premier League. He smashes it in the corner, but he hit across him, Madge, right, on the volley, second half, which was like on another level. I mean, his confidence is super
I've been
high.
a fan of his for a long time.
Yeah, they need to sort him out big time. Fulham can't lose players like him. Been a great asset this season.
He's someone that you can build a future around.
Yeah.
If you can tie him down, then my goodness, they look good going forward. But with Liverpool, there seems to be a breakthrough. Then it seems to be again this.
Yeah.
2 draws in the last couple of games. The nil-nil draw was terrible the other night. It was boring. So, what are Liverpool doing wrong?
Oh, I got to be honest. It just doesn't feel right to me. The whole situation.
Exactly that.
It just something's amiss. We all know that they had a. Well, let's be honest. After they won the league, it was 2 major events socially, didn't they? They had the parade where they had that terrible incident.
Yeah, you forget about that.
Yeah, and there was all. They all had to consume that, and then obviously, oh my goodness, I don't want to.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
I think we need to go over to the Etihad because Mickey Gray's got an update for us.
Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Enzo Fernandez with the finishing touch. It's Malagusta down the right-hand side from a quick break from Chelsea. He gets the ball into the area. The City defenders switch off. There's 2 or 3 players who make contact with the ball, but it's Enzo Fernandez with the final touch. He has 1 poke, which is saved. Second ball comes back out to him, and he pops the ball into the back of the net from about 3 yards out. And Donnarumma is on his knees, shaking his head. He feels he's made a mistake, but Enzo Fernandez was there to pounce, to level up. Man City 1, Chelsea 1.
Wow. Just like that, it all changes at the Etihad. And Arsenal fans around the country will be celebrating our Chelsea fans, won't they? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it looks like it's onside, but it's going to be one of those tight calls, I think.
Is one likely to be checked.
But I have to finish off where I was going because I was talking about Jota, and I don't want to leave that without addressing that. That was the other big social, so there were 2 major kind of incidents there, which were really, really affected you mentally as a footballer. And that's with all the changes and everything else. So Liverpool, yes, not right. But just going back to this game, I'm looking at the Chelsea bench celebrating. Man City should have put them away. I mean, Pep's pulling his hair out. He hasn't got any hair, but this game should have been down and buried by them. And there you go. That's the Premier League for you. They've come up with a goal. It's 1-1.
I'm bringing things back to Liverpool, of course. What is the expectation for Liverpool for the rest of the season, Pardew? It's got to be a top 4 finish. They have to be in the Champions League with the money that they've spent. They're not going to win the league. That's not going to happen.
No, I don't think so. And I also I think the Champions League is definitely something that they can achieve even in the form they're in. But I do expect an upsurge from them. And one of the cups, I think they might come alive in. Just an added impetus. They look like they need some impetus. They can't win the league, so they're like, I'm not. It's the motivation is not really where it should be when you're chasing for the league. So I think the cups are going to be a really dangerous team.
Absolutely. 03717223344. Let's go back to the phone lines. Harry joins us. He's a Fulham fan. He's a first-time caller as well. Welcome, Harry.
Hiya. You good? You good?
Yes. How are you feeling after that enthralling counter at the Craven Cottage?
I've calmed down a little bit. I mean, it was the wonderful goal at the end by Harrison Reed. Like, you just see him hitting. It's like, wow, it's gone top bins and it's unbelievable. But it's just a shame on what I see, and I think a lot of fans see about the offside for Vert. It seems like it was actually offside and wasn't a goal.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, even in every angle on the TV, it looks offside. And yet VAR come back and said it was onside by, I can't remember, like a foot, someone's foot, outstretched foot. But it happened so quickly. The interaction between the pass and the run was so fast. I don't know how that.
It's a hard decision to make, right? I don't doubt that the ref worked hard.
Yeah.
But if I can see it the naked eye, a lot of fans come without the lines being drawn, why can't they get that right at Stockley Park? It's time and time again, best league in the world, meant to have best rest, and we, as fans, get let down by that constantly. I expect tomorrow, on review, maybe the Premier League or whatever association will come out and give us an apology, but it's not good enough. And, okay, a draw against Liverpool is a good result, but potentially cost us a win and another 2 points.
Yeah, well, there's been 2 or 3 incidents, haven't they, where they've apologised. I'm not sure you're going to get an apology for that one. I think they're probably going to, say that was the lines that they see with all their cameras. Remember, they had this system. I can't remember how many cameras it is. Is it something like
there's a lot,
30-odd cameras or something? I can't remember. Anyway, well, let's look on the positives, though. Another good result for Fulham today. Regardless, I know it's only a draw, but it's a good result, and you're on a nice little run, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main plan is see what signings we can get in January, back Marco Silva, and hopefully give him a new contract, because he's one of these managers that could potentially be off to Spurs in 6 months' time if he doesn't get a new contract.
You don't want to come to us, mate.
Well, he's a good manager. He's been out for 4 years, and I was slating him at the start of the season and thought we need to push on and get Euro, because we've been constantly like 10th the last couple of years, and obviously we've been in and out of the Championship since I've been a fan, and we just need to back him more and get further up. But he's done such a good job with the group of players we've got, and he's got players like Wilson who were out the team a year ago. There's a Brentford game, I think, at home, end of last season, where he come on and scored the 2 goals, and since that he's been really good form.
Yeah, brilliant, cool, thank you. It's finished at the Etihad. Let's go over to Mickey. Great.
Where it has finished, Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. More points dropped for City at home in a game they could ill afford to lose, with Arsenal extending the gap at the top of the table. They had to be patient, but in the first half they got themselves in through Tierney Reinders. He broke down the left-hand side. He chopped it onto his left foot and fired the ball into the roof of the net. City again dominated in the second half. Chelsea had chances themselves, but the late show from Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez on the 94th minute. Good play from Malo Gusto down the right-hand side. His whip ball into the area along the ground was then saved by Donnarumma from on his line, but the ball ricocheted back to Enzo Fernandez from 2 yards out. He poked the ball into the back of the net. And we are level at the Etihad Stadium at full time. It has finished here. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1.
Thank you, brilliant stuff, Mickey, as always. Right, Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City fans, it's been a dreamland weekend for Arsenal. Arsenal fans, are you going to win the league in another 6 point clear? And it is the 4th of January 2026. You're past Christmas and you're 6 points clear.
They all closed up, didn't they? And now Arsenal pulled away again.
Yeah.
Nicely.
It's the final word. Give us a call, 03717 22 3344. That's right, the final word phone in here with Madge and Pards as he just finished at the Etihad. Manchester City 1 and a late reply from Chelsea to make it 1-1. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Thank you to Mickey Gray for all the delightful work during the show. Yes, Madge, I celebrated like a Chelsea fan. Get in! Another great weekend. Will we win the league? We are looking strong, but it's still too early to call. Although a 6-point cushion is superb and allows us the odd slip-up, which I don't see coming anytime soon. Thanks, lads. Howdy, Arsenal fan. Pards, is it a championship weekend? I might have to say it like an NFL word. Championship weekend.
Well, it's a big jump, isn't it now? Manchester City 6 points off the Arsenal. And my wish of the Premier League coming back to London looks very much on.
They battered Aston Villa, didn't they, Arsenal, in the week?
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Aston Villa. They weren't at their best, but Arsenal were one of them teams. They don't, when you are a good team and you come up against a great team, they can make you look very ordinary.
Yeah.
And I thought Arsenal yesterday at Bournemouth were terrific, by the way. Did you see the end of the last period of the game? That Bournemouth, pushing to try and get an equaliser. They see the game out. It looks so professional.
They're so solid.
So professional.
Yeah, it's worrying because they are that professional. We said great week for Arsenal, 6 points for the Gunners and only 2 points from Manchester City. The gap's now 6 points. What about Chelsea and the manager merry-go-round? Enzo Maresca and, the talks of Liam Rosner coming in. What do you make of all of that? What's your thoughts have been on it, Pards?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, Maresca and Chelsea, World Club champions, blah, blah, blah. Has he done a good job? I thought, actually, regardless of, some decisions he made, I thought he did a good job. Obviously, he's had tensions there, and the tensions and the way the club is run, when you look at the list of managers that the club has gone through, it's obvious that there's a lot of tension behind the scenes. Anyway, he's gone, and now they're talking about Liam Rosner. Now, Liam Rosner, you know what he's done at Strasbourg, Madge? He's trained a really nice border collie. That's what he's done there in a nice big field. And he's been left alone, and he knows exactly what that dog's going to do. He's going to come to London if he takes Chelsea, and he's going to get a Rottweiler on an estate. And with a lot of people who are going to be busy around him. Do you know what I mean? And he's going to try and train this attack dog. And it's a completely different animal.
How can, with all due respect to what he's doing, and what he's doing is fantastic, by the way, very young manager, always, as soon as he stepped into the media role, and I see him on TV, and I thought, he speaks so well, very intelligent, clearly a very intelligent footballing person. But as I said, very young. How are Chelsea going for someone who are 7th in League 1, yeah, right? This is Chelsea. This is Chelsea. Conte, the biggest and best managers in the world. Who they had in the Abramovich era, they'd go for like Gus Hiddink and Rafa Benitez when his stock was highest, and people like that. Big Phil as well, and all these people.
Well, in the past under Abramovich, they've gone for high profile, big character managers. Now this isn't that.
The Don.
Liam isn't that. You'd worry that he'd become a puppet for them. The owners and the technical directors, it'd all be like, wow, you're only a young manager. We need to guide you. And I don't know if that's the road they're going to go down. I worry for him if he's going into that job on his own. He needs a real big support network around him, and I don't know if that's what he's got at the moment, because Maresca obviously didn't feel he had that.
Literally, just looking at the list of managers for Chelsea.
Incredible. Have you seen that someone put on YouTube or TikTok this week the list of Chelsea managers and the 3 Arsenal managers of Arsene Wenger, Emery, and Arteta, and there must be, I don't know, about 18 names on it.
Oh yeah, in comparison.
Yeah,
but again, as I said, you've got
it's a different model, but
Gus Hiddink into Carlos Ancelotti, into AVB, who at the time was a hot prospect. Of course, Di Matteo wins the Champions League with them. Then Rafa comes in, Jose comes back. You've got Gus Hiddink, Conte, Sarri.
They're all big names, or have been big names. Even Potter was doing particularly well. You know, he was the young hot property. But you know, this is a big call to bring Liam from Strasbourg into this club. Really is, if they're going to do that.
Well, let's go over to Michael, who's a Chelsea fan. He joins us. How are we, Michael?
Well, no, got Michael.
Michael's not here. He's maybe looking for Liam.
He's gone to
03717 223344 is the number to call if you want to get through to us. Chelsea fans, we want to hear from you. Right now, you know, there's a lot of clubs out there thinking we might change our manager, we might move in a different direction. Who is out there right now that can slip into a Chelsea job?
Well, you know,
Jurgen Klopp.
Listen, no. I don't think Jurgen will be coming back. Oliver Glasner is out of contract.
Yeah.
Right? There was a report in today's paper about Eddie Howe being contacted. Javi was mentioned with a Chelsea job. These are the sort of names you would expect, really, if I'm honest, to be mentioned in line of a job at Chelsea. But I don't know if that's the route they're going. This model they've got of buying young players, putting them on, you know, smallish salaries. They're not small salaries, but smallish compared to some of the other top clubs in the country. Long contracts, and then bringing in a young manager to oversee it all. I can see where that's going, but I'm not sure it's a road that's going to be successful long term.
Do you want to share in some of Arsenal's delight?
Go on.
Let's bring an Arsenal fan on.
Why not?
John joins us. Hello, John.
Hello, boys. How's it going? You all right?
I can hear in his voice the spring and the step in after that. Did you celebrate that goal like a Chelsea fan?
He's got a swagger in his voice.
Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea. Get in the Chelsea. What's the result?
After them, you know, Majestic parting company, you didn't think they'd go to the Etihad and get anything at all. So that's massive. 2 points dropped.
Who saw that coming? Yeah, who saw it coming after the week they've had?
I know.
But there you go. They got a good core of players there, and even with Maresca there, I was tipping Chelsea to be title challengers in the next sort of 2 to 3 years.
100%. They got good squad.
Yeah, because they have got some great players. But basically, I don't know if you remember, I phoned up after the City and Arsenal game at the Emirates, and I got absolutely slaughtered because I defended the way we played. I said it was a really good point earned. And Troy Deeney was basically criticising Arsenal.
Yes, I remember.
Point in that game. Well, there you go. This is football. This is the point I was trying to make in that game. You've just had Man City play a completely low morale Chelsea side. The game's there for the taking. What's their excuse? They've got the best striker in the world playing for them. They couldn't break down that Chelsea defence, who's been arguably quite, a bit iffy throughout the course of the season. It's just a shame Troy's not on, because I'd love to hear what his response would be.
I mean, I have to say that Manchester City created enough chances. They actually took the wrong option today. There was a few opportunities they had to kill the game off, and surprisingly for them, they didn't take it. And you're always liable for that, that kick, that killer punch at the end. I mean, I'm really pleased for young Callum. He's come in and had to stand in as manager, and he goes to Manchester City and gets a point. Well done, you.
Yeah, fair play to Callum, and Alan, you're spot on, mate. They did ride their luck at points. Haaland hit a thunderbolt against the post.
Yeah.
But come on. Everyone's saying City have been there. They've done it. But it's a different side to the 1-2 years ago that chased down Arsenal. Yeah, albeit they do have.
And you're a very different Arsenal, aren't you, John? Let's be honest. This year,
yeah, our squad is brilliant, and this is the beauty of this Arsenal squad. We've got Eze, who's not played in a couple of weeks. He's going to be fresh and raring to go when we face Liverpool Thursday night. Who knows what the team will look like against Pompey next weekend when we got the FA Cup? Whereas City can't do that. They can't afford, unless they bring in a load of kids, they can't rotate the way we can. I'm telling you, boys, I really think this is our year. Up the Gunners, come on.
You know what, John? If I was you, I'd be feeling and thinking the exact same thing, because you look at Arsenal and you think, who's likely to beat them?
It's just not natural for Arsenal fans to get very, very nervous and edgy. It is. It is because of the seconds, the second. Here we go. But when you look at the league table tonight, this is a very pivotal week, and there's been, and it could actually get better for Arsenal this week. Let's see how the results go as we go into Wednesday and next Saturday again, or Sunday.
Great result for Arsenal. Thanks, Chelsea. That's from an unnamed messenger.
Yeah.
Chelsea just been going around in circles. That's why they have to appoint someone such as Martin O'Neill to get things back on track. From Jeff and Epping.
Yeah, mine will be pleased.
Mine to Chelsea?
Well, Celtic to Chelsea, you know, it's not a bad move, is it?
Speaking of Celtic, wow. The old firm yesterday, see it?
Yeah, and...
my boy Mikey Moore on the score sheet.
Yes, good goal.
Yeah.
Right foot, just took it back across the keeper.
Keeper could have
Big,
done better.
massive result up there. I mean, you know, the fans made their feelings known, and I've got a big pal who's a Celtic fan, and he's pulling his hair out.
Isn't he?
Can't quite work it out.
After
Nancy fella.
After everything
he
Rangers.
keeps telling me. He just keeps texting me, who's this Nancy fella? Yeah.
After everything Rangers have gone through in recent times as well, you know, massive for them. I know my late great friend John Reed, he would have been very happy with that Rangers result yesterday. And Celtic under pressure, the manager under a lot of pressure. Could we see Ange Postecoglou returning to Celtic? Is out of a job?
Well, Hearts.
Yeah.
And Tony Bloom, who's the owner of Hearts, has got a window coming up. I suspect Hearts might do some business.
Yeah, I agree.
By UBB with Brighton.
That Arsenal-Liverpool game, of course, is live on talkSPORT this Thursday. It's a massive game.
Yeah.
Download the talkSPORT app to hear all the live Premier League games, and the details are on the website at talksport.com. Keep your calls coming into us, 03717 22 3344, and we'll hear from you next on The Final Word.
$26K for 2026 on talkSPORT.
An epic bed for an epic competition. At talkSPORT, we're welcoming in the new year by giving you a massive chance to win. A massive £26,000. That's right. At 12 p.m. this Friday, we'll be calling one lucky winner with a guaranteed payment made that day. Yep, you could pocket yourself £26,000. 26 grand. Here's how to enter for your chance to win. Text the word WIN, that's W-I-N, in case you don't know, to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call the number on 0343 423 9761. Lines closed 12 p.m, 9th of January 2026. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. UK residents only, 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com/win. Good luck. So yeah, 26 grand could be yours. Good luck if you are entering that one. It'd be nice to just get 26 grand out of nowhere, wouldn't it? Right. 03717 223344 is the number. It's the 4th of January. We are into the transfer window. Pards business shall be getting done.
Yep. All the conversations will be taking part right now as we speak.
On a Sunday
Flying here, there, everywhere, meeting private jets, etc., etc. Team of agents and lawyers and technical directors and owners, etc., etc. It's all going on.
Wait, do you think Raheem Sterling could do a job for someone somewhere?
He was so out of form at Chelsea. I mean, it's very difficult to come back.
Yeah.
But I hope so. I really do. I really hope someone gives him a chance because he's not going to get a game, is he, at the moment?
No. But it's like...
Training on his own, apparently.
But imagine him at West Ham. They could keep him up.
Do you want... I've got a transfer quiz.
A transfer quiz?
For you.
Oh, okay. I like quizzes. Apart from when Matt does them.
And the reason I've sort of turned it into a quiz, right? Because, like January, we're talking about Spurs, who they should go and get. And all the clubs thinking, if we could get him, if we could get them. Let's talk about strikers, right, in the summer window, about how successful they've been, in terms of the money paid and how successful they have actually been on the football pitch, right?
Yeah.
So I put them, in my opinion, in order
of
success.
Here we go.
So I'm going to give you a couple of clues, and then you're going to tell me who they are. So I've got a striker who was a free transfer as number one, but equally number one, a striker that cost £82 million. Who do you think they are?
A striker that was a free transfer. And
there's only one that really has got 8 goals this year, Mr. Calvert-Lewin.
Yes.
Give you a clue, right?
Of course.
So I've got Calvert-Lewin. It was a free transfer, by the way, as a number one signing of the summer. It'll equal with the boy that you like. He wears a red shirt and he cost £82 million.
The Ekitike.
Ekitike, right? So I think we give them both a tick, don't we?
Yes.
Ekitike, by the way, has got 8 goals in 18 games. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin has got 8 goals in how many games? 18 games.
18 games, yeah.
Bizarre, isn't it? Then I've got the big tall fella, German, who went in. Voltermine, right? So he has got 7 goals in 17 games. So we give him a tick. 65 million, by the way.
You're going to count his own goal against Sunderland?
Then we're coming down the list a little bit. So now, let's say Spurs spend £55 million. You get yourself a Pedro. His stats?
4.
6 goals in 19 appearances. But remember, did he get the winning goal in the World Club Championship? No,
definitely.
But he got a few goals, didn't he?
Yeah.
So we give him a little tick. And then we come in.
He started off very well.
Again, yeah. We got another player who wears a red shirt and got injured.
In Bremen?
Isaac.
Oh, Isaac.
Right.
Yeah.
2 goals in 10 games for him. And then in 5th place, ironically, Arsenal's striker that was going to solve all the problems. Do you know what his stats are? Go, Chris.
He's scored 4 goals.
5 goals in 18 appearances, which I think should be better. And then in last place, they've done it again. Who's won this particular competition?
Man United.
Yes.
Sesko.
And his stats, 2 goals in 16 appearances, and even more so, his performances.
Because at least with Gyökeres, to give him credit,
he bundles around.
He works hard.
Yeah,
he works hard, And at the end of the day, Arsenal are winning, right?
But when you look at that whole list, Madge, right, you have to say for all that money spent, it hasn't made too much of a change to any of those teams, has it? Would you say that? Calvert-Lewin, for sure, absolutely changed Leeds season in those 8 goals.
He'll be keeping them up.
He could be keeping them up. Yeah. And other than that, the rest of them, So money doesn't buy everything. So there's a little clue to the January window. It'd be interesting to see what fees we get, what a success. We've already got 34 million for Brendan Johnson, a club record at Crystal Palace. That is.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's go to the phone lines, and joining me is somebody who is a big Iron Maiden fan and is seeing Suede very soon, I believe. It's Jerry. How are we, Jerry?
Cool. How are you, Jed?
I'm very well. See, I remembered everything from the other night.
You haven't played any music, though?
We haven't played any music yet, Jerry.
No. Where is our music?
Right.
We're waiting for the quiz. Okay. Jerry wants to do a rock theme week 1 week. We spoke on the Sports Bar Friday night. He said, Madge, on Sunday we need a rock theme week. He wants Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, some good requests. Next week, 6:30, Jerry. We booked it in.
Jerry, it's booked.
Right, brilliant. Right, Pard, can I ask you a couple of questions and see what your thoughts are?
Fire away.
You know, players who suffer soft tissue injuries, e.g. hamstrings, calves and everything.
Yeah.
Have football clubs ever looked at an alternative sport where they use those muscles more than any other and thought about doing something like that? Give an example. I used to do loads of cycling and kickboxing. Now, cycling shortens your hamstrings.
Yep.
And to do kickboxing, you need long hamstrings. So I used to stretch for an hour before a fight session 4 times a week. Why don't the clubs look at alternative ways of how somebody who can kick his legs straight up, no problem, and not rip his hamstring? What are your thoughts on them looking at alternative ways of...
Well, look, let me answer your question. First and foremost, right, the football clubs are actually loaded with money. They really are. So them medical departments can throw everything at you. Now, they're always coming up with ideas similar to this. I can even recall when I was back at Crystal Palace and Steve Coppell was manager, we got a stretching expert in who used to do the stretching for the Rolling Stones. Bizarrely. And he was a bit of a psychologist as well. So you come in and you do stretching sessions and decide psychologist. What I would say to you is most of these medical teams are really kind of cutting edge in terms of what they're doing and the information. One of the problems we've got is recovery time. And I think that's somewhere where medical teams and the management team fall out. And I think that happened at Chelsea just recently with Cole Palmer and Reece James in particular about their recovery, their comeback, how many minutes they should play, etc., etc. So the answer to that question is they do get experts in from other fields. Rugby has been a big influence on football, for example. I'm not so sure about kickboxing. I've never heard anyone say about that. But I do take your point. And I think you'd like to think medical teams, yes, across the country are on top of all of that.
Next question. I'm sorry I'm going on.
That's right.
You know, all these managers moaning about the football pundits saying things and they disagreeing.
Yeah.
Can I just say 4 words and see what you think?
Well,
knowledge talk, wisdom listens. Now, half these pundits have got the knowledge, but they don't listen. They're not showing any wisdom by listening.
Yeah.
If you don't change things in life, you're not going to improve.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of pundits that I listen to, and I think wisdom is not top of their agenda. I take your point on that. And, you know, sometimes when I think some pundits fall into the mistake of getting too emotional, particularly about their own club, and they go down a line of, you know, throwing out all sorts of accusations, etc., without the knowledge and without listening. You're quite right, and without the inside track, so to speak. And it's a dangerous game. So, you know, I like to think that me and Madge do our best to not sort of go around the edges of it, to try and talk factually. And I think, you know, if you're going to be a pundit in today's world, unfortunately, you're under a lot of pressure to make, is it clickbait you call it, Madge? Which is where you kind of rail the fan.
Clickbait, don't they?
Yeah, and we try to steer away from that.
Oh, we're better than that, aren't we, Pub?
Well, we like to think we're
highbrow.
We like to think we're up there somewhere.
Right, 03717 22 33 44. We'll be going through Sunday's other games next, as well as some of the rest of the weekend's sport. It's Madge, it's Pards, it's talkSPORT.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with: cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impact with the racket. The call of "new balls please" seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point: the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour optic yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comforts of his own front room. You could say the IT.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, alongside the former Newcastle United boss and Crystal Palace boss, Alan Pardew. We'll talk about his derby very soon. But right now, we're the only place on national radio taking your calls about this kind of thing, which is, of course, football. 03717223344. And yes, West Ham fans, we're going to be talking about you in the next hour. Get ready. But now it's time for that quiz. That is more showbiz than an Elton John New Year's Eve party. It's the Mystery Footballer Song Quiz. And today we're talking about a man in the dugout. It's simple to play. That's all you need to do is tell us the famous manager is linked to these three songs. Remember, it could be the clubs he's played for, a nickname, or even his trophy cabinet. So, DJ Kitch, let the drop of the song montage begin.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
Madness, our house.
In the middle of our house.
ABBA, the winner takes it all.
It's simple and it's plain. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of it.
And special brass in pocket, Pretenders, but that special lyric is very important in this one. So our house, Madness, of course, Big Chelsea affiliation. And ABBA, Winner Takes It All, and Pretenders. What a great record that is as well. If you know the answer to the Mystery Footballer Quiz on those clues, I think I've got it. 81089, or WhatsApp us for free on 03717 223344. It is the Final Word on talkSPORT. Right. Let's now go through Sunday's other games, starting at Hill Dickinson as Brentford put 4 past Everton. Everton 2, Brentford 4. Thiago hat-trick. Keith Andrews should get credit as Brentford go to 7th. And Moyes changed a back four who kept a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest. But as I mentioned before, it's definitely come from producer Ross, that one. Yeah. Let's now hear from both managers in this game. And before we hear from Brentford boss Keith Andrews, let's first hear from Everton manager David Moyes, who gives his thoughts on his team's defence today.
I don't know if I can put it down to him. It's not like us in some ways, but I think Brentford, you have to give them a bit of credit. I think they've got abilities to cause teams problems. They've done it to us a little bit. I thought we started the game quite well. We were a bit unlucky not to maybe get a goal in front. Their keeper made a good save, missed another chance as well. But really after that, we didn't defend as well as we have done in most of our games this season, and that was probably the main reason.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's a special character. He's someone I love working with on a daily basis. We have a very close relationship, and he's a big part of our group. Yeah.
Is that your best away performance of the season, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. In the context of league table, coming here, we knew if we won, we'd go ahead of them. And even though I haven't been here before, I'm well aware of what it can be. The Everton fans have got so much respect for this football club, steeped in history. The manager, which I spoke about pre-match, I've learned a lot from afar from looking at him and his teams, and again I hold him in the highest of regard. So I think, to play in the way we did and the performance level, I think it was a deserved victory.
Both David Moyes and Keith Andrews, their respective managers of Brentford and Everton, as Brentford smash Everton away from home, 4-2. Pards, when Brentford announced that Thomas Frank was going, they did what Brentford do. They recruited from within. And
set play manager become the manager, not the head coach. The manager.
But it's playing well, isn't it, into their hands?
Yeah, I mean, Keith Andrews done a good apprenticeship, and being a pundit too, actually, for a little period. And Sky, I think he used to do a little bit, but he has done an absolutely brilliant job. And he was set play coach under Thomas, and the set plays at Brentford have been instrumental in a lot of what they've done. So he's obviously put that front and centre of the game plan. They can play a bit as well. And they have a striker, a Brazilian striker. Who would have thought Brentford would have the top Brazilian striker in Europe? Because Thiago, I think, has got more goals than any other Brazilian striker. So, he is top on form.
Really is.
And that is a massive result.
Yeah, and, I remember speaking to, the Brentford fans just before the season started, and it was going into the unknown with the gaffer, with Keith Andrews. Well, they've entrusted him. He knows the group of players well. Is there somebody we said in that consistency and the stability is what they are,
Yeah, and also they have got a good set of players. I mean, as David Moyes hinted at, they got real quality in that group. Good defenders, they put their bodies on the line, decent in midfield, creativity, set plays, really, really good. And a striker in form. And, after losing Tony and Wissa, you would begin to worry for them and the manager, but nope, on they go. And that has a lot to do with the ownership, the way the club is run. And Keith Andrews, we have to doff our cap, managerial cap.
7th currently at the moment in a very tight mid part of the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can they get into Europe?
I would think that's unlikely, but... there's no problem in Brentford fans dreaming of that, and but very, very difficult. Newcastle are picking up; they're starting to creep up the league. Brighton have been strong for long periods of the season. Chelsea, who got a great result today, although they didn't play particularly brilliant, going to have a new manager soon. Man United, well, where are they going to end up? I don't know. And then you've got Liverpool, Man City, Aston Villa, Arsenal. So it's a tough call to get Europe for them. But Everton today. I mean, I watched the game unfold a little bit, and it wasn't like Everton. It wasn't like a David Moyes team today. They were just off it, and so it proved, and they got smashed.
Yeah, they need to bounce back. That is for sure.
What have they got this week? Let's have a quick look at that. Everton, where are they?
They got Wolves at home. Wolves will be buzzing.
Oof. Yeah.
That is on Wednesday, 7:30 kickoff. Don't forget, we have you covered this week for Premier League action and EFL action here.
Another big week of football, isn't it?
It's a big week every week, week in, week out. So let's go to, again, I don't like trying to wish you're sorry, thinking about Spurs. I want to go back to speaking about Spurs for a moment, but I want to talk about Crystal Palace. Sorry, I was moving on to Crystal Palace. Oliver Glasner is someone that I was going to talk about because, of course, he's going to be hot on everyone's tongue at the moment because he's a manager that people have been very impressed with at the moment. Things aren't going so well for Palace at the moment. Kind of defeats. And it was difficult today, obviously, going to Newcastle, losing 2-0. They've just gone and spent £35 million on Brendan Johnson. And, you know, that's a record signing for the club record signing. But he's someone that has a lot of admirers and hasn't put pen to paper on a new deal or anything, has he?
No.
So that could be worrying times for Palace.
Well, he obviously come up and raised the point that the squad isn't big enough and I need some kind of assistance here in the window. He more or less shouted that from the top of the hill.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. I didn't want to start
Yeah, and I think they've answered that call. I mean, to break the record in the January window is really unlike Crystal Palace. No. So they're obviously trying to appease him. And of course they want to. He's won 2 cups, which no one in 92 years before that could manage to do. So he's obviously a hot property. His team does look a little bit jaded. I think that's the word to use. I wouldn't say tired. They just look jaded.
It's a good word.
And they need a pick me up. And sometimes it might be someone from the squad to just come into the team and just give it a lift. At the minute, it looks flat. Their results are reflecting that.
Well,
they got well beat today.
Well, let's hear from the Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner, and let's hear from Newcastle boss first, Eddie Howe, who has his take on his side's performance.
The character and the willingness to win and to battle and to scrap tight games. This was never going to be, for me, a pretty game because of the opposition that we faced, the conditions that we're playing in, the number of games that we've had. We're welcoming players back from injury, but our squad isn't at full strength. So the players have done incredibly well in recent weeks to keep battling, to keep going, and we know we've got players that can make the difference. I think we've got real quality in our squad, and I think that showed again ultimately today.
We don't have time in 3 days. It's Villa, and I think they're also one of the best teams regarding set plays. We knew when we spoke about it before. Newcastle is scoring about 50% of their goals from set plays. On the other side, they concede 50% as well, and here they were much better than we were today, and that's why we lost the game. And this is what we have to get solved. There is no can't say it takes us 3 months, because it's just not possible, and that's our responsibility, and especially my responsibility, to find solutions.
Oliver Glasner and Eddie Howe there reflecting on their side's performances as Newcastle win 2-0 at home. A very comfortable victory for Newcastle, and of course that pushes them up the table. And there's only 4 points difference, Pards, between 5th and 14th place. It's a very strange table right now, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't usually get that tightness. 2 or 3 places you can move, but if you
very
get
championship-looking table.
Yeah.
Championship's normally like that.
That's right, and I think it is because all of these Premier League clubs now have match winners in them. Yeah. When I go back to I don't know, even 10 years ago, the teams in the bottom half, some of those teams didn't have match winners. They ground out results. They were good at set plays or whatever, but they didn't have, out and out match winners yet. When you look at all the Premier League clubs, even Wolves now, you'd have to say they all got players who can just get that magical goal, get you out of trouble. So, results are always going to be reflective of that. And it's a very even league.
Absolutely, indeed. That was all of Sunday's actions covered there here on talkSPORT of Imagine Pards. 03717 223344 is the number. Don't forget, we are playing our quiz as well. We're going to give you a reminder of those 3 songs in a moment's time. I'm sure you're all can't wait for that.
Do you know that quiz? Sometimes it's like it's like a shot from outside the box. You got to have a lot of education and skill about it. This, for me, is a 6-yard tapping.
Tapping.
Yeah, and if people really focus, they'll get it.
Yeah. It's a Johnson.
I think Ross has done because it's the new year. I think he wants to start nice and gentle.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, his team got hammered today, so he's obviously
he's looking at why me? Why me? He's doing the old Balotelli. Why always me?
Pulled his shirt up.
Yeah. At least he can get his bib on. 03717 22 3344 is the number to call us. It's the final word with Imagine Pards. Great record. And ABBA with Winner Takes It All.
You sounded like a DJ there.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
We're in a DJ mode.
DJ voice.
And song 3, Brass in Pocket, from the Pretenders.
What's her name? Lead singer?
Chrissy Hines, isn't it? From Pretenders? Yeah. Incredible vocalist, guitar player as well, and songwriter. So there's your 3 songs. Our House, Madness, of course, is a Chelsea connection. ABBA, Winner Takes It All. Could be Swedish. Could be Swedish. And Brass in Pocket, Pretenders. And this person is no pretender, that's for sure. If you know who the mystery footballer or, football manager is, text 81089 or WhatsApp for free on 03 717 223344 is the number to call. It's Magic Pards. It is a Sunday night. We spoke about it briefly already, but we've actually got Everton caller.
There.
Yeah.
Were you talking about Spurs?
No, thank God.
Oh, good.
I actually don't want to talk about Spurs. I went to, actually, funny enough, before we get to the callers, I went to a very good friend of mine's dad's 70th birthday last night. Steve King used to play for Enfield back in the day.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good club, Enfield. Right?
Yeah, and he was
almost signed for them.
Really, he's one of their legends. He's a club legend. Lovely fella, Steve. And went to his birthday, and obviously all the lads from school are there, and my mates are there. Mate, what about Spurs? What would we talk about Spurs? I'm like, I've never not wanted to speak about Spurs as much as I don't want to at the moment.
Bless you.
You know what it is? I feel for Thomas Frank a little bit because I don't think he's necessarily the problem. And I feel really out of.
I'll tell you, he ain't the problem.
No, and I don't want to be that guy to just get on somebody's back because, and we did get on Andrew's back a little bit last season. And if you look with a little,
no, you definitely got on his back
when he started doing silly things. And I just hope with Thomas Frank, and I know Thomas Frank listens to the show. He loves the show.
Yeah.
Right. I just hope, like just try and bear with it. Because he's done the thing of the whole fans, but about the booing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When Ange went down that route with the fans and he started doing don't do it. Don't do it. Thomas Frank's a top bloke. I just want to keep him there. Let's ride the storm. We've got to ride the storm.
Well, I think, on that front, I can't see him going down that road. I think he's too intelligent to do something like that. I think...
no, but he's already said a couple of things. Like I said, we did finish 17th last year. It's like...
I know.
We did, but we didn't finish 17th. We won the Europa League.
Well, no, you did.
Yeah, but we did on purpose.
No, you didn't do it on purpose. You finished 17th because you lost 17 games.
No, but Mickey van der Ven's even come out and said, literally, they asked the gaffer.
because Van der Ven said, there was a couple of times me and Romero didn't play because we were holding us back for the cup. Yeah. So that warrants you getting beaten. No, not having it.
Not having it?
No.
Champions League football. Oh, hello, Steph. We got Steph there?
Oh, what? Daddy's here.
Here he is.
Sorry. He's here.
He's here.
All right, there you go. Hello, mate.
Hello, Steph. You right?
Yeah, sound.
How you feeling about the game today?
Yeah, right. So we are literally about an hour. About half an hour away. Yeah.
I think we've got a bit of a dodgy line. We're going to come back to Steph in a moment's time because I've got another one of your former clubs here, Pards. We've got a Crystal Palace fan. Sean joins us.
Oh.
Hello, Sean.
Hey, chaps. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, very well, my
that's
friend.
a better
Yourself?
line. How are you, Sean?
Yeah, good. Alan, quick one. You're the first ever person who made me cry through joy in my life at Villa Park.
Oh,
nice. Little ginger 9-year-old crying his eyes out for you. So.
Sean, isn't that the best feeling with football when you have that moment, that tears of joy, like the elation?
Oh, couldn't comprehend it. Especially, I actually was at Anfield earlier on that year when we got done 9-0, and that was me going to school. That I had to go to school the next day, and imagine what happened to me in school the next day. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, chaps, absolute pleasure talking to you, Alan. Really is.
Lovely.
Quick one, chaps. I'm not specifically digging out Tottenham here. There's a few clubs. Do you think maybe it's not them? There are a few bad managers. There's bad players, definitely. But at times, do you think the fans are the problem? And I will actually, and I'm going to sound like an absolute idiot here, but Palace, like earlier on last season with Glasner, he had a shocking start, dreadful start.
Yeah.
But there were no Palace fans going Glasner out. We were like, no, you know what? We'll wait. And if he had a start like that at Tottenham, oh my God, your phone lines would be going mental. And I do realise there's standards and stuff, but there was an elder gentleman who rang up earlier on this morning with Tony Cascarino, and he said, like, Chelsea have always been a drama club. He said, even like in the 70s, they had drama and they had chaos going on.
They did have
it's
drama.
just the way they are. Yeah. There are clubs that have got a certain DNA. And like I think back to like mid-90s, Jerry Francis with Tottenham. And it's just this, I don't think Tottenham fans have been happy with a manager since Terry Venables. I generally don't. I don't think they've been actually gone, yeah, he's a great man, we're happy with him.
No, do you know what, Sean? I hear what you're saying, and there's always a lot of knee-jerk reaction, especially with Spurs. And the only recent times that we've been settled is probably Poch, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
I think Harry Redknapp, I felt quite settled with him. I don't think any of us wanted Harry to go. It was he flirted with the England job and they got rid of him for AVB, which I thought was the wrong decision. And it was so unfortunate for Harry because he got top four, but our luck, Chelsea won the Champions League, and in that year it was like, no, you get booted out and you don't get the place. So he was unfortunate. I just think now, in general, I think, Sean, and I think Pardew is absolutely correct in saying even our show, podcast, all these things that are compressing this intensity into football, that everything is such a knee-jerk reaction. You look back at we always look back at Ferguson when he started at Manchester United. Ferguson wouldn't have got past those stages that he didn't win at the start. Now, in this day and age, everything.
But he also got to a point, and I'll go back to Alex on this one. Is that Alex controlled the media room to some extent. They'd be frightened to ask him those damning questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if he made a sub and it cost them the game, no one would bring it up. It was almost like you couldn't. There was a respect about it. Giving the manager and the kind of mantle of someone who is, they're all looking up to.
Yeah.
But that's definitely never there now. It's almost like we're on an even kill here. Yeah, you might be the manager of the club, but so what?
And we look at channels, Sean, that are on YouTube, etc., with who are fans of the football club, and they actually have somewhat more sway and say than the internal press people at the clubs.
Correct.
I know within Manchester United there are certain figures.
Is it that Mark Goldbridge?
Mark
He's
Goldbridge.
Quite influential.
Mark
isn't he?
Goldbridge is very successful and he's absolutely smashed it in what he does. And you've got to respect it. As any entrepreneur, I respect what Mark Goldbridge has done incredibly. It's insane what he's built, right? And that has come from a person who you look at and you think...
let's just go back to one thing, right, about the point that
Sean's saying,
Yeah. And one of the things I would say, Sean, is like in society, I know you must be fairly old. How old are you? 60? 50?
I'm 44.
Oh, blimey, you was that young when you was...
Yeah, he was 9. He said he was a 9-year-old ginger.
I
was 29.
I was 9 at Villa Park.
Okay. I do you a disservice, sir. But there's a lack of respect in society. You see it getting on the train, people getting on the train before you even get off it. There's just a lack of respect all across the board here, and particularly in the sporting world. I think that's really relevant, particularly in the press room and the way people are treated. And I'd like to see that return a little bit of respect across all societies.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. And, Sean, I just think just in general, we look at clubs, and again, let's have it right. On this particular station, and I know because I was taking the calls, there were so many calls for Arteta out for Arsenal in the first few seasons. And then it's settled, right? And I have to go back to it and say that, and I use Arsenal at the moment as the sort of blueprint. They stuck with something, they trusted in the process. Then everyone goes, yeah, but they've given him £1 billion. Yeah, because they trusted his idea and his vision.
Correct.
And they are that close to winning. And if you look at the Premier League, I know we look at Pep as a complete different entity because he is Pep Guardiola, but the teams that are doing the best are the ones who have had managers there for the longest periods of time.
Yeah, and even like when you look at Liverpool, we're having a little bit of a downturn on this lot. That team was built by Klopp. That club was organised. Everything about that club was Klopp, wasn't it? And Arne Slot come in and won the league in his first season, which was amazing. But, inherited a lot of Klopp stuff. And now his vision, whatever that is now coming to fruition. And that needs time.
Yeah.
It's not something, there's no point getting rid of him. We've got to wait and see what he's going to involve that team into.
Even with Manchester City, of course, today they didn't get it over the line. But you look at the players that they've brought in, and I see some quality in there. And Pep's going again with them. I'd like, you know what? I'd like to see Pep stay with Manchester City and just sort of the days of having Fergie and Wenger and even Moisey when he was at Everton in the first
you
team.
get to know them, and they're like part of, they're they're not like a friend, but they are someone you know really well, aren't they? Because I just want to go back to Sean. How do you think this is going to play out with Oliver, Sean, going down the line to the summer? How do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I think that he might go to somewhere else because...
Have we lost him?
We've lost Sean.
Oh, damn. Who is running this company? This is where I'm going to talk to the technical director and have words with him.
Can you do a mic drop Amron thing here? I'm the manager.
Yeah. I'm the manager, and if I want to call her on, I want Sean back. Or ask him about Oliver Glasner.
Well, I'll tell you what, listen. We've got to doff our caps to Brentford because they lost their gaffer in the summer. Everyone looked... Then for possible relegation.
We have already doffed our caps, so we've done all that.
Yeah, but we haven't spoke to a Brentford fan.
No.
And we don't often speak to Brentford fans.
No, we don't. Oh my goodness.
Let's speak to Callum. How are we, Callum?
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. How are you both doing?
You should be buzzing, mate. And you know what? Again, respect to Brentford because they hired from within someone that knows the club. And Brentford, I think, when it comes to the running of a football club, they get it
they're
right.
Up there. They're up
They
there.
get it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they always get it right. And I called them the first game of the season when we lost 3-1. And I said to you both, I said I had full trust in Matthew Benham, and he has done it once again. So, I'm absolutely, honestly, through the roof right now with the performances from the team. I mean, you must be watching in, again, I mean, Alan, you must be thinking, just to see a club like Brentford, how they're performing. I mean,
and I go past your stadium on that M4, and it's so impressive, isn't it? When you look back at that little ground that you had before with a pub on the corner, both corners. Right. It was a great club, a great stadium, by the way. But the new stadium is magnificent.
And I'll tell you what, Billy the Bee Grant, who's the host of the Besotted podcast, who can talk for England, by the way. Honestly, when we have him on, he's great. If you do a prereq with him, he's fantastic. He'll do 20 minutes for you. But he'll be over the moon. And you know what he did say about this recruiting from within and knowing the club well, Callum? I think, knowing those players and seeing the ones that have come through, he's done a terrific job. And, what is the, the request for the rest of the season? What is the ambition? Can you get into Europe?
I think so. We've got some great players there, and Thiago is hitting some fantastic form at the moment. So I think the key thing for me is keeping the players fit.
Yeah.
I feel like we're a little weak, possibly, with options other than Thiago up front. So maybe bringing in a striker to out if we need that. But other than that, I think we're doing a fantastic job. I wouldn't ask for anything else. So can't get too greedy, but we're doing brilliantly.
Callum, let me ask you a question, right? And this is a one-word answer. You've got to say his name, right? Who are you going to take, right? This is the choice: Thiago or Tony. Which one would you have in your team for the rest of the season?
Thiago in a heartbeat. I think you look at his reaction today. If you get a chance to see it, just what it meant to score that hat-trick today and with his last goal.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I see an interview of him. He's a real citizen, isn't he? He's a really lovely man.
Do you know what? Yeah. He got, 14 goals in 20 Premier League appearances so far this season, yeah? I just, again, that kind of business that Brentford have done, and they've looked at Club Brugge and gone, 18 goals in 34 for them. That's great.
By the way, that's a great scouting.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I mean, it's great just going to Bruges. You ever been to the market? And the town's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that job. Going and watch him for a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, and that is, did we put him in our top striker in terms of, where was he? He was up the top, near the top, wasn't he?
No, Thiago, no, because did he come in this window?
Yeah.
Well, then Ted needs to come back in here. This is the analyst to let us down here.
Well, 2024 he came.
That's why I thought he didn't come in this window. Well done, Ted.
But listen, he's been absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you what, the problem is for Brentford, and Callum will probably feel this as well, he's only 24. All the clubs are going to be looking at him now, aren't they, Cal?
Oh.
My worry was actually, I said this on my podcast, the Ealing Road podcast, I think that the issue I have is clubs may look at him even in January.
Yeah.
I mean, his ambition, I suspect, is possibly to go after the World Cup for Brazil. I mean, I would love to see that for a Brentford player. That would be fantastic. But can he get in the squad being part of Brentford Football Club? It's difficult to
Well,
say.
you know he's got to
really,
get in
but-
front of to get in that team. That Spurs player, Richarlison. You'd like to think he's got a chance.
But you know what? Richarlison is Spurs' top goal scorer in the calendar of year 25. He does actually come up with goals.
I've got nothing against
I know.
Richarlison. I'm just saying.
I know, but he's not
Thiago at the moment.
Thiago's the guy. But Callum, quickly, do you want to give your podcast a little plug again on national radio?
Absolutely, Ealing Road podcast. We do things every single week. So yeah, give it a shout anytime. We take questions. So yeah, give it a shot. Give it a good listen. And yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity once again, guys. Really
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Callum. A very happy Brentford fan this evening. 03717 223344. This show's incredible tonight. We've had everyone. Well done, team. It's Majestic and Pards on a Sunday night. It's talkSPORT.
Miles away, and he's out of his goal, and McGuinness put it in from 30 yards, and he's surely sealed the points now. Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Mateus Mane has made it 3-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. This West Ham team is an embarrassment. Scott Parker's side marooned 6 points adrift of safety. Brighton 2, Burnley 0.
Over 2, Arsenal 3, 2 Declan Rice goals, stroked in perfectly.
Cunha down the right-hand side, into the area, slips it under the goalkeeper, and in. And Cunha scores an equaliser for Manchester United.
Spurs 1, Sunderland 1. It's Brian Brobby who's rifled home, and what a goal it was as well.
Thiago, who's got it, completing his hat-trick. Everton 2, Brentford 4.
The ball goes in the back post. Bruno Guimaraes has scored! Oh my word! What a goal for Fulham! Just when Liverpool thought they'd stolen the victory, it's Harrison Reed from 30 yards out. Fulham 2, Liverpool 2.
And that's how the weekend sounded here on talkSPORT, which is epic, as always. Big shout and congratulations to the team here at talkSPORT who do a wonderful job keeping you updated on the weekend, as they was keeping me updated yesterday as I freezing cold parts for 6 hours watching my son at a football tournament. It was freezing.
What, 7 aside?
7 aside.
7 aside.
Yeah, freezing cold.
How many goals did you get?
He only got a couple. Okay. But it was just nice. You know what? Before the season starts again, blowing the cobwebs off. You know that after the Christmas, you need a little run out, didn't you?
Yeah. But that's a long stint in the field, isn't it? I mean, the weather is
because he played
seriously cold.
He played under 9s and then under 10s.
Oh, so he had two because
he played for the team that I put together with my good friend James McManus. We made it KJFC.
And did you get anywhere? Final?
Semi-finals. Yeah, not bad at all. Good. And then he played for his Sunday team, GT United, and it was just so cold.
Yeah.
We was Wolverhampton Abbey, right? There was a team from...
You had the flask with a soup in. No. That's a good shout.
I should have went down that route.
Yeah, see, people take tea and coffees, but you got to have the bovril or the soup.
Well, imagine this, yeah? We was in Wolverhampton Abbey, which is in, Hertfordshire, Essex type way. There was a team from Lewisham there. That's a long way to go. I said, they're a very good team, by the way. I was like, they ain't come from Lewisham not to not win. They're here to win. And you can see that. The kids, they love the football, don't they? It's everywhere.
Well, listen, the kids love it, but the parents are the ones who got to trawl and wait on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
So hats off to the parents.
There was a lot of cold people out there.
Yeah.
Yesterday and probably today as well.
Flask with some soup, that's my tip.
That's the tip.
Yeah.
Before we hear from George, the Chelsea fan, let's hear from two managers from Man City's 1-1 draw from Chelsea and their interim boss, Callum McFarlane, who was asked what it was like for him to face Pep.
Go on, Callum.
Obviously, he's one of the best managers that's ever done it, but I think that seems to be the narrative of the game, and I don't think it should be. I think it should be about the players that are playing, top internationals, top players, and I think the talk should be about our players and how well they performed. It shouldn't be about me taking a game interim. It should be about the quality of performance that those lads put on with everything that's gone on. That should be the narrative, in my opinion.
Listen, everybody has that. I know that. I have another opinion. Of course, when they could not play in the way they played in the half time because not even past the halfway, and of course they make more aggressive, more there, and they play good in the process and in these kind of situations. But the first two action was because we lost 2 balls, easy passes, and they could run. But the rest was really good, and of course in that position we have the ball and we control, and talent players like we could run, and at the end we didn't find the last pass and the last moment to finish the game. So that was simple as that.
Right, that was the two managers there from the 1-1 draw at the Etihad. Chelsea are close to confirming the appointment of Liam Rosner as their new manager, talkSPORT understands. This is coming from Crookie. Rosner has flown to London to complete the formalities on his switch from Strasbourg. The former Hull boss is expected to take charge of Chelsea's Premier League game at Fulham on Wednesday.
Amazing.
Well, let's go straight to a Chelsea fan to get their immediate reaction. George joins us on the final word. How are we, George?
I'm all right, boys.
George, listen, you are going to be the person that's probably going to go all over talkSPORT's YouTube channel now because you're the first Chelsea fan to react to the news that's coming from the chief correspondent of football. He never gets it wrong, Alex Crook. Liam Rosner coming over to London to formalise his deal to Chelsea. What do you make of that, George?
Well, let's get the circus keep going then, boys. Let's keep going, shall we? Liam Rosino coming into Chelsea? Really? Right, so let me get one thing straight, okay? We got rid of Maresca for whatever reason.
World club champion.
He's walked out for whatever reason. I get it, okay? But if you're going to go down a route that we're going to go down a route of where we're all about young players, all about this, all about that, that kid tonight, Callum, the way he took that team and we went in 1-0 down, came out the second half fighting, and we scraped the draw. Why don't you just stick with that? That's what I don't get with this Blue Code company. I don't get it. I do not get it.
Well, again, George, you raise a great point because we were speaking earlier to Callum, who's a Brentford fan, right? And, of course, they appointed from within the club when they lost Thomas Frank. Like you're saying here, this is someone that already knows the lads. He's come in tonight. He's got them fighting. You know, a bit of pride in the second half. They got a draw at the Etihad, which is difficult at the best of the times, let alone after losing your manager. Why necessarily, like you say, go for this appointment?
Why go for this? You know, look at the end of the game. Reece James dragged him over to the crowd, and they all they clapped him and everything. I don't understand. Liam Rosino, what's he done? What has he done? What's he proved there's nothing now. My club's a joke at the moment. It's a circus. Always has been. Always will be. And right now, I'm lost for words, boys. I'm lost for words. I would stick with this Callum boy. I'd stick with him.
George, let's bring in a former league manager of the year in Alan Pardew to get his instant reaction here on this apparent appointment at Chelsea, Pards.
Well, it surprises me to some extent, and it doesn't surprise me on other levels. One, he's obviously part of the group that, Strasbourg is part of their teams that they own and run. There's been criticism before, I think, when they took a player from that club. Now they've taken their manager. He's well known to Chelsea. He's going to know exactly what his brief is. And it just worries me what his brief is, Madge. That's what worries me. What is his breach? How much influence does he have? Is he going to have the same kind of powers that Maresca has? Is he going to have lesser powers? I'm guessing they're going to talk it up as if he's exactly the same position as Maresca. But I would certainly worry for Liam. I hope he's got a lot of experience. His father is obviously a great person and a great ex-footballer and coach himself. So, there's great experience there. But I think he's going to need a little bit more help than that. And he's going into a real kind of, I wouldn't call it an asylum, but it's a very, very difficult place to manage.
So, Rossini, of course, as I said before, I really like him.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like about him.
Me
I
too.
liked him as a pundit and an analyst. I thought he was fantastic. And he was someone, actually, that stood out to me. I always remembered him as a player. But when he was doing the analytical side of stuff, I thought, he really does know his football. But this is the Premier League. And it's not just your first job in the Premier League. It's Chelsea, right?
Yeah, and forget about that. If you get front of that board, right, I know 1,000 analysts who would look brilliant on Sky doing a tactical kind of explanation of what's just gone on the pitch.
I'll
right?
probably look all right.
Yeah, and you could do it, I'm sure. You could. What I would say that is the lesser part of the job at Chelsea. You have to manage international players. You have to know their moods. You have to leave international players on the bench. You have to lose young players who are absolutely stars in their own country on the bench. How do you handle that? How do you look after them? You don't have that problem at Strasbourg. That's one problem. Then you've got 5 technical directors. Then you've got an ownership that is giving you players that are investments for the future.
Yeah.
And not to worry about it, Liam. It's not all about you. It's about the football club. So this player is coming in. Yeah, he's an absolutely outstanding player, but he's probably not for your first team just yet. He's going to get all that coming in. Where's he going to get the leadership on the pitch from? Okay, he's got some players out there, Reece James, Fernandez, who have been there and done it. There is some experience in that group, but it really is a tough call for this kid to take this club at this time. And I think I talk for all senior managers when I say, wow, he's going into it with his eyes wide open, and he's going to need a lot of luck and a lot of help. I hope it's a great support team around him.
I think it's one of the craziest acquisitions I've ever seen in the Premier League era, in my opinion, right? And I say that, as I said, as a fan of the fella. I think he's brilliant, and I think he's going to be a prospect. But Chelsea, Graham Potter was tipped to be the next England manager before going to Chelsea.
Graham Potter's CV was certainly more impressive than Liam's has been.
Yeah, 100%.
And, there's no doubt about that.
We all talk about players coming into the Premier League and managing at the Premier League, right? And for me, if you are looking at what Rossini is doing in Strasbourg, for example, 7th in the French League, then why not look at Frank Lampard again, who's doing a great job at Coventry? Of course, a couple of results recently haven't been great, but he's doing a great job with Coventry.
He certainly is.
Knows the club inside out, loves the club. I thought he did well first time round with the restrictions that he had. I think, why would you not go for someone like Frank again? But listen, we talk about young managers getting chances and going into this thing, and, could this be a revolutionary, and a young English manager for us as well?
Well, that
we should be supporting him.
That's exactly the line that I was going to go down. It's nice to see one of the big clubs give an opportunity to an English manager. And he's an English manager. He's not a complete novice, by the way. Let's not, we're sort of not talking him up too much. His CV is good enough in terms of the qualities and the path that he's taken. It's just a toxic club in a lot of ways, I think, for a young manager to go into. That would be my concern. If someone said to me Ancelotti was going back there to manage this team for this year and the next year, I'd go, oh, I can understand why they've brought him in.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's got the experience, he's been there, he's done it, he's had all types of ownerships, he can deal with it. So this is a tough call. It's a brave call, and I hope it works out.
And again, for, like I said, a young English manager, not just a young English manager, a person of colour as well.
Yeah, that's true.
To be in that position, I think, is a fantastic sign. As I mentioned before, Justin Cochran, who's a coach at Spurs, for me, someone that's going to become a Premier League manager at some point.
Yeah.
He's got the quality as well. I think it's a great thing to see. As you said as well, it's a pressure place, Chelsea. I just hope it doesn't dent his reputation and what he's done so far, because he's on such a great trajectory. But a young English manager in a big job like Chelsea, let's get behind him. As English,
and I think he will get the fan base on his side quite quickly. And as I say, I think the most important thing, and probably the 5 directors of football there, whichever roles that they have within the club, or it's the transfer budget, or it's to oversee the management of the players, it's transfers or coming in, going out, whatever, or to deal with the ownership, I hope they give him the support network he needs to get this job as a success. Because there's no doubt about it, as we were talking earlier, the playing staff is outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, they lack some experience. In UK, you need to tweak it a little bit. There's not a lot wrong with that Chelsea team.
No, absolutely. And listen to talkSPORT. I'm sure we'll have more as the night goes on. And, of course,
yeah, that's going to be breaking.
White and Jordan tomorrow. We'll have all the latest. I'm sure Crookie will be joining them for that. Well done, Crookie, as well, for that fantastic information. Remember, there's less than a week to go. talkSPORT celebrating 2026 by giving you a chance to win £26,000. Head to talksport.com/win to find out how to enter. Coming up, we turn our attention to West Ham's awful weekend. We'll tell you who the mystery manager is, if you don't know already. That's next on the Final Word of talkSPORT. Our House here on Imagine Pods FM. And then there's ABBA with Winner Takes It All.
Love a bit of ABBA.
Who doesn't like a bit of ABBA, eh? And then there's the Pretenders, Brass in Pocket. And the answer pods, of course.
Well, the man himself, perhaps the #1 manager of all time, or not, depending on your view, Jose Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho.
Jose.
No, Jose.
Jose.
It's Jose. You have to say Jose, not Jose.
Okay.
Yeah. Funny, Jose. Do you remember he did that at press conference? Yeah. I love him.
He done some things.
He's been brilliant. You know what? And I love managers like that in the Premier League.
Yeah.
We need more of that. Yeah. So that, of course, was Jose Mourinho, who was the manager. So many people got it right. But first was Ricardo in Surrey, who's a very happy gooner tonight.
Yes, I bet. Few happy gooners about.
Absolutely.
And the first work day really tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll all be going back very, very smug Arsenal
Very
tomorrow.
happy indeed.
Those fans. Look out for them when they come in.
Now, we've left the worst till last. West Ham's awful weekend against Wolves. Wolves 3, West Ham 0. Wolves win their first game in the Premier League at the 20th time of trying. West Ham lose yet again. They've now lost 12 times this evening. West Ham versus Nottingham Forest is live on talkSPORT Tuesday evening. That's a 6-pointer. 4 points the difference between those clubs as 17th take on 18th. How do West Ham get out of this one? Because, of course, there's the famous West Ham team that were too good to go down. Now, this team is not too good to go down.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at their run of form and the run of form that they're on, it really is worrying that there doesn't seem to be an answer, because he's tweaked the team, he's changed it, he's done this, he's done that. He can't seem to find in that group of players a system where they can put results together. And when you start looking at the stats, right, it starts looking really worrying for West Ham. So if you look at Wolves, they've lost 16 games. And the only one they've won is against West Ham, by the way. Burnley have lost 14 games. And then you got Nottingham Forest and West Ham, both who have lost 12. The rest is like 8 and 7. So there's some distance apart. Then when you look at goals against, West Ham have conceded 41 goals, which is the most in the Premier League. So immediately, you've got a massive issue here. The back four, the back three, whatever he's going to play, and the goalie, that doesn't look secure. And when that's not secure, and you've got 12 defeats in 20 already, you are looking at relegation. There's no point putting your head in the sand and saying, oh, West Ham got this, got Joe Bowen and blah, 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 we'll be all right. Callum will come good, etc., etc. We've got this great boy Fernandez, we've got great pace, Somerville in the team. No, at the moment, this is a dysfunctional side. And I don't care who the manager is going in there. I think Nuno's a decent manager. But I don't care who goes in there. They're in big, big trouble. And they need to do some business in January. Now, they've signed a striker. I think he's over the line.
Yeah, the Brazilian.
Yeah. And that's going to be, like, key. But that isn't the answer. That's not going to be just the answer. We was only talking about that strikers earlier, wasn't we?
Yeah.
Strikers who have cost 87 million haven't been a success. It's very difficult to find your feet as a striker in the Premier League. They need to get a defender in there or two to secure that back line. Otherwise, they are going down.
They could also do. Remember the season in January they brought Jesse Lingard in and he was phenomenal for them. They could do with someone like that, a Premier League star.
Which we talk about Sterling.
That's what I'm saying.
Who has been rumoured to go West Ham. You know, and you'd like to think that that's the sort of club he might find his feet again, Sterling, and pull up some trees. But I really worry for him defensively. I look at the two centre-backs. You know, when I talk to West Ham fans who go every week, they're telling me that there's a continual issue in that area. That's the area, and the goalkeeper, the communication between those three set plays, keep conceding. They look vulnerable. People are bending it under the crossbar on purpose because the keeper is making poor decisions. So
even though he had a worldie yesterday and still let 3 goals in.
And yeah, he made a number. You know, he makes unbelievable saves. But there's stuff about his game at the moment that is fundamentally flawed, and particularly set plays with decision making.
Yeah. There definitely is that. The talkSPORT Breakfast Show returns on Monday morning where Jeff Stelling is joined by Arsenal invincible Ray Pardew and former West Ham defender James Collins. They could do with him now, couldn't they?
Big James Collins, he'd do.
James would do well.
Yeah, one of my best signings it was at West Ham. James Collins, what a lovely lad.
But he's top guy. But if you need some music in your life, swipe across the talkSPORT app to the Virgin Radio Breakfast Show with Chris Evans. Just Chris now, mate. That's who we love on Virgin, all right? The final word returns next Sunday. But next up, it's one of the best shows on radio. It's the brilliant Danny Kelly, fellow Spurs fan, sufferer, brings you the
He's in rehab.
Yeah, brings you the Trans-Europe Express right here in talkSPORT. So from me, Madge, and him, Pards.
Yeah, I want to say one more last thing. I just want to say to Leroy, congratulations to you and Liam, and I hope it all really goes well.
Yeah, that's on the assumption that Liam Rosenior is expected to be the next Chelsea manager, a young English manager stepping into the Chelsea job. More to follow on talkSPORT throughout the night and, of course, on tomorrow. It's Madge and Pards.
And it's a very good night.